Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Item number 2 is roll call. Darcy?
Engelhardt,
Here.
Engstrom,
Here.
Malcolm,
Here.
Marr, Moore.
Here. All right. Item 3 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody that's capable, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item 4 is perfection and approval of the agenda. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Carried. Thank you. Item 5 is public comment time.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Just for YouTube people, my name is Crystal Duffy. I'm the library director and the project coordinator for our Postville Community Garden Soul. I just wanted to show you guys all the posters, if you haven't already seen them, that will be popping up all over town in a variety of languages this week. And if any of you are involved in any sort of community activities or other groups that you want to request a specific amount or printed surveys instead of doing QR codes for the survey, I'm happy to accommodate whatever you would like. So I would like to put some of these up in the front if that's all right. And yeah, so if anybody on City Council wants me to show them how to do a QR code, it is really easy. It makes my life really easy. And next month, I look forward to sharing some early data with you all about what we've found out so far. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Crystal.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Christy.
Hi again. I'm Christy Turner. I'm the director at the Postville Child Care Center. So I came and talked to you guys a couple months ago, and you guys are probably like, "What is she doing? I haven't heard from her again." Well, I've been busy working and reaching out to people across the state of Iowa who are professionals and experts in early child care and the crisis that we're facing nationwide, but Iowa as well. And out of that, I've arranged what's called a lunch and learn, and that's going to be March 30th from 12 to 1 at the Wellness Center in the community room. And our guest speaker is Sherry Penny. She's from the Iowa Women's Foundation. And really, I would look at it as an opportunity for us to come together and learn more about ways to support early childcare efforts, why it's important to do, and that it's going to be a community effort to sustain childcare in a community. I look forward to seeing you all there. I do want to say there's some urgency in this, so attendance would be very helpful for me. We're doing really good things at the Child Care Center, but we're having a hard time sustaining our program. So we need people to come together and meet and talk about what we can do to keep
What's the
going.
date again?
March 30th from 12 to 1 at the community room in the Wellness Center. Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Christy. Do you think that is working? Because I didn't see her picture on there.
Oh, it didn't move?
Yeah.
I can go next?
You are up on 10, item 10, right?
Yes and no.
Yes and no? Yeah, you have some public comment?
Yes.
You then come on up.
Okay. It may take me more than 3 minutes. So first of all, I'd like to clarify something, that I have nothing against the police department of Postville or the city council. I think that the police department, EMTs, first responders, everybody is doing a tremendous job. We need them and we support them. Same thing with the city of Postville. I have nothing against anyone here in the city of Postville. The opposite, I like to support everyone. The only problem I have is when enforcement of the law is one-sided. And when one group or maybe one person or family is in target, I'm against that. That's discrimination and harassment. Now, I spoke with the special investigator that the city has retained, Mr. Palmer. And under advice of my own lawyer, I can't put everything on the table, but I have a few things that I like to share. So I came to Postville, to America, 30 years ago. And I was 28, 27 years ago, I came to Postville. I never had any problem with no one. Not with the city, not with the police. I was never arrested. I was maybe traffic tickets, okay? Speeding tickets. I never had any problem with the law. Never been in jail. Never been nothing. Maybe 3-4 years ago, is not my feeling. I'm not accusing anyone because everybody is not guilty. It was guilty. And I don't want anybody to say, oh, you say A, B, and C. In my opinion, there's a group of people or families that have been targeted by the police department. And you need two to tango. That means that the police department cannot go without the backup of the city, of whoever is behind, giving the approval to what they do. And I'm going to share with you just maybe one or two examples. Number one, the Jewish community suffer much lack of parking in the synagogue. And I'm not saying that we don't have to follow the law. Everybody has to follow the law, even if you don't speak English, even if you don't have blue eyes. Also, you have to follow the law, and you have to keep the rules and regulations of the city. But cannot be one-sided, like I said before. And we have documented many things. I'm not going to put everything on the table. But if you go around and you can see that people are, instead of looking at the problem and says, we're going to solve the problem of now we solve the problem because we have parking. But let's see what we can do for the synagogue, for the school, it doesn't matter, that doesn't have to be the Jewish community. Anyone, how we can solve the problem, how can help instead of giving tickets and giving and harassing them, maybe we can park one side of the street. I don't know if they ever thought about it. But because if you go around on Sunday, people do park in other places against the law, and there's no enforcement. Now, second is that from the moment I bought my place here in Phillips 66, and by the way, I spoke with a few members of the council before, and I spoke with the mayor also at length, I think, in my business. I was targeted by the police officer, by the police department for parking on the boulevard, on the street, when this never happened before, when Fauser owned the place. Because I was a customer of, Bill, the gas station, and when they finished working on my car, they parked it on the boulevard. When the big cars, the big trucks of Fauser company have to stop, they stop on the boulevard. And everything is, so they didn't look at the map. I look at the map, and I found out that from that corner to that corner, everything is commercial. And I'm allowed to park in the boulevard. Residential is not allowed. And I came to the city, and I talked to Darcy about it, and I was approached 4 different times with 4 different excuses why I cannot park, till they nail it. So that's not lack of enforcement, like the police officer told me. This is intent after me because it never happened before. It never happened. I remember. I asked people, people sitting here, I asked if it's true or not, and it never happened. Only when I bought the place. And then after they gave me a ticket, and they dismissed it because I hired Chuck Kelly to take care of the ticket because it was not the right way to do it. They start going after my family. And following your son or your child because you have a badge is not right. And when you follow minorities is even wrong. And I told Darcy,
That's 3 minutes, Mayor.
okay, and I told him, sorry, I'm kind of,
How long do you think you're going to go here?
I finished.
Okay.
And I told, I think we should listen to the citizens. Thank you. And I said that it's not taking more than 3 minutes. So if you give me a few more minutes.
You got it. Yep. Couple
I
more.
came to the city and I told them, listen, you bring me paper after paper, but if you read the paper, that's not an excuse for what you're doing to me. It's not the law. It's not the ordinance. It's not the what the law says. If the law says A, B, and C, I will do it. But the law don't say A, B, and C. And you're looking after me, and they came with that paper, and then again with another paper, till they nail it that I cannot park a truck certain size on the street. That's okay. Then I don't park over there anymore. So what I think is that the city of Postville have to go through diversity training, because it's not only me or the Jewish people. Or, I'm not saying every Jewish guy was harassed, okay, but many. It's also the Hispanics people that are suffering, because I speak Spanish, I happen to be Spanish, and I have a lot of customers. So I think that the city of Postville have to go to diversity class or training. And again, if you don't speak English, that doesn't mean that you're gonna have to keep the law. But if you speak English, doesn't mean that you are absent from keeping the law. Okay, everybody, justice is should be blind. So I think that the city of Postville has to go to diversity, and it's a good thing that we have this special investigator. And I think we need the city himself change. You know, it's nothing we can do. This is the United States of America. This is every place. People come where you can make money, where you feel safe. Postville is a safe city, nice people, and we have to work for the city. I think that despite the city, business are moving into town. Okay, because when I wanted people to come, there always was an excuse why, and not a fix of how can we have these guys coming in to rent from you, or et cetera, et cetera. So this is what I think, and I think that the people have to take it up themselves. You know, city officials that are elected to work for the city. We need lights in all the schools. The crossing roads are very dark. When it gets dark and you go like going to West Union, it's very dark. You don't see people crossing. There is people that, there's many things that we have to do. Even the Jewish school needs signs. You know how many people don't stop at the stop sign here in the corner, 51 and 52? My daughter-in-law was run over by a car over there. And I don't think that anything happened to the driver. And thank God nothing happened to her either. We are in the corner and we see all the time, and the police should be enforcing the law, not going after a family or a few people. If they have 3 times, they have to enforce the law, not to harass people. That's the only thing I say. I have nothing against anybody. I like Postville, very nice town. Everybody knows me. I'm a nice guy till they go after my family. That's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Alrighty. And we will go on to item 6. It's a public hearing for the budget year 23-24. Resolution 1386-23, a resolution approving the budget fiscal year for the year 2023 and 2024. So we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Anybody have any comment on our new budget? Not that we have any
No written.
communication or anything else in there, so. No public comment on that?
How did you figure in the budget for the salary? We have union negotiations coming up,
Correct.
okay? Do we have some allowance in there for, inevitably there ends up being pay increases or percentage increases? We have some kind of allowance in there for
We
what
do.
may happen?
Yep.
Okay,
So their contract is this new budget year.
is what? Is they have to go
23,
through
24.
23, 24?
Yeah.
Okay.
mhm.
Just wanted to know, okay?
Yeah.
We have,
All right, hearing no other public comment, I guess we can close the public hearing. And then we can act then on the resolution. So would there be a motion?
I move.
Motion to approve the budget?
Yes.
Okay, I move we approve resolution 1386-23.
All right, thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
Yes, so Darcy, whenever you're ready, we'll call for the vote then.
Engelhardt,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Malcolm,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Pass, thank you. So then item 7 is resolution number 1387-23, a resolution approving budget for the fiscal year 23-24 transfers. Can you explain that a little bit?
Sure, yep. So it is a requirement by law that any transfers we do between funds has to be by resolution. So in your budget, we have some funds that we'll be transferring. For example, we transfer money from general fund to the healthcare fund to give the donation to the ambulance. There is a transfer in there from the capital improvement fund to the capital project fund, and then from the water fund to the capital project fund, which is the DOT project, which we have coming up in the spring. And then, of course, in your budget, we do pay back money from general to local option sales tax for that over expenditure from way back with law enforcement. So that gets transferred
That's
every
the
year.
last part, LOS.
The local
Okay.
option, yeah.
I was just gonna ask about that. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think if there's any other ones we have budgeted off the top of my head. Those are the main ones.
So the first one, the 119, just goes into the fire department. Is that correct?
Right, so
Or
we'll,
the- our
so this
donation
next
portion?
year with the new
Layout.
change with the fire department, we levy for emergency because we're at the max tax of 810. So we do pay some of the fire department budget out of that, but next year we'll be budgeting that as a donation out of the general fund. So
Okay.
we'll be taking our emergency money and putting
Put
it
it
into the
down
general.
and taking
Yeah,
it back out.
and then of course TIF, that's your payback, your interfund loan to the water fund.
All right, any more questions?
And that water is just that project going to be done with Highway 18 or whatever
That's
when we're
correct, yeah,
doing the states redoing that?
that's correct, yeah.
I'd make a motion to approve resolution 1387-23.
All right, Ross has made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mary, did you do that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So Darcy, whenever you're ready.
Engelhardt,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Malcolm,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
All right, yes, thank you. Item 8, then Cory with
Altumint.
Altumint, yeah, what we're talking about. We had, and he's here with the speed camera discussion. There's been just so many questions, and so we got Cory to come back and then try to answer some of these questions you might have. So go ahead.
Just appreciate you guys having me back, and so I guess I'll just open this back up to the questions, and unless you need me to go back over what we plan on doing or what the plan would be. So I'll just kind of let you guys rattle off and then I can answer them for you.
And if there, maybe you can just go ahead with your presentation again. Maybe the questions will come
Yeah,
up.
so I mean, I think I think the reason I came back here tonight was to kind of go over the agreement that we supplied to you guys to look over. So it's a 3-year agreement, and I know there's a lot of legal jargon in there. But like I said, I'd be able to answer probably 99% of them as I've been doing this for the past couple of years. So just a little background about myself and then the company and then what we've been doing here for probably the past year and a half, 2 years now, just in multiple conversations. I'm Cory Kuzik. I am my title has changed since the last time I was here. I'm now the Director of Strategic Accounts that kind of handles the Midwest and East Coast. I'm based out of Northeast Ohio. Our company is based out of Atlanta, Maryland. We now have I think since the last time I was here, we have opened up an office space in West Union where we have technicians that live in Fort Atkinson. I have one that lives in Fort Atkinson, another one lives in Davenport, and then we just brought on a regional sales manager who's currently in another jurisdiction attending their council meeting this evening, but he's based out of Waterloo. So he's going to be one of the local guys. I will still continue to be your account manager if you guys decide to, go along with the agreement. So I'd be the main point of contact for the police department and yourselves going forward until further notice, until something else changes. But we've conducted traffic studies. After speaking with the chief, I think we're going to end up doing one more. I think just on 18 and 51. Is that down on that way?
1852 south.
52.
Yeah.
Not 51. See,
Where are they all gonna be? 18 and 52?
So I think we did a traffic study on 18, right in the 35-mile-an-hour zone. That has already been completed. That was completed.
Is that west of town then?
Yeah,
right by the
west.
Casey's.
Yeah, okay.
West. And then we did one on the north end, correct? And that's 51. 51. See, where am I getting 52 from?
That is because that is
Okay,
50,
there's
18 and
52.
52 run
That's where I'm
together.
getting 52. There's just a lot of roads rolling around in my head. And then, so I think we did one, but it wasn't really the spot I think the chief was thinking when I did it a while back. So we're going to push it a little bit further south, I think more into the 35 zone, past the Dollar General. I think there's a Dollar General down there. So we're going to do it. We haven't gotten to it yet. Every time I get my text to come out, there's about 3 or 4 inches of snow at the time. So I'm used to it as well. But obviously we can't get a true accurate reading of what the traffic is doing when there's, inclement weather in the midst. So we are getting that on the schedule. You guys are the next ones on the schedule to get that done.
So they'd all be pretty close to the transitional zone then?
No, we do any traffic studies well into the mile per hour where I've been asked to do it. So we're not.
Cameras would as well be in that
Yeah,
part?
right where I do the traffic study is normally where we put the camera. So I'm actually pretty cognizant of where I'm doing the study is generally where we're going to have, where the system could potentially go. So they're well within the speed limit, within that zone that we're doing the reading on.
Because then we drop down to 25 once we get further towards town, correct?
Right. So I think it was, I did it in the 25 before, and it just wasn't where the chief wanted it. I guess I misunderstood what he was asking. So then, just a couple months ago, we revisited it when we spoke, and so we're going to get it a little further south.
So if we do this, our main thing is safety, is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
So with knowing that, is there any way to get more of the speed sensors like we have around in a couple spots and move them closer to those zone areas instead of the 25 zone out to the 35, where it's showing where speeds are?
You want
Shows your speed coming in?
sign?
What's that?
Your speed is signs, like those signs? I mean, you can.
Because those get my attention pretty well and slow me down already.
So, I mean, I've done it in Claremont. I've done traffic studies there where they have signs kind of everywhere over there, and it still didn't seem to make a huge effect. I'm not saying it wouldn't here. I just know my background's law enforcement. I've been a cop for a very long time. I'm still currently a cop in Ohio. Those signs, depending on, how they're set up, you can turn them off after a certain speed's hit.
Yep.
I've always found that kids like to see how fast they get that sign.
But that would be our choice where to put those of ours. I mean, that would just be one of ours.
And if they want to try seeing how fast they can go, all the more reason for them to get a ticket.
There you go. So again, like if you wanted to put a sign there, I think you could. I think the traffic study system we use is through a third party. So we purchased that system. No cameras attached to it. It's a little black box that has a radar head on it. It just counts cars. So ultimately, it just kind of gives you a true reading or an understanding. I don't want to say a true reading, an understanding of what traffic's doing when nobody else is around. When no law enforcement's around or anything like that.
And do you have any concern with the bills at the state level right now restricting speed cameras?
Not currently right now. We're actively working and monitoring those right now. We're working with our consultant, who's obviously working with a lot of the coalitions and other lobby and our competitors. We're working all kind of together just to monitor and see what's going to come of those.
Because we'd be on all state highways, is that correct?
Yes. In my opinion only, There's no legal opinion on this one, but I think my opinion only is the traffic studies really did show a true problem, an issue on where we've done it. I think 18, if I remember correctly, it was a very high number in a 24-hour period. A lot of cars coming through, but a lot of people speeding. So again, I think the articulable fact is that for myself, who's been in law enforcement as long as I have, it's a dwindling career right now. Not a lot of people are wanting to do it, and the people that are coming in and doing it are just, the numbers are low. And so this is just, again, this is not to replace law enforcement. These systems are not to do that. It's another tool for the tool belt. Nothing says that an officer can't sit right next to the camera and catch somebody speeding. So.
Now, the access to the website, that would be for our police department to have
Yes.
access to that, not
Yes.
the general public.
Correct. Now, the general public, if they do receive a citation, there's another website that they
They
can go
can go
review the photos
okay.
and
Okay,
everything
cool.
like that.
And they can only see their own name.
Correct. They don't see everybody else's stuff.
All right.
So if this would come in effect, would it be able to move those to city streets?
And I think if we were able to get them up on the state routes and then something changed, yeah, we'd be able to move the systems onto a city street if we'd like.
Ross, is that something, is that something that litigated?
What's that?
State? What?
Yeah, it's in the house right now. I mean, I think this article's from March 1st and one has made it through the House and I think the others made it through the Senate that they're
There's
still progressing through. And I don't know where it's got after that, but I believe this was the first part of March, this article on it, Larry.
There are two bills that have come out of the House that have made it out of committee, so now they're in the full House and being discussed. And then there's another bill that came out for the
And
Senate.
they're saying they're trying to do what?
They're
Say that these are
essentially
legal?
trying to strip the city of their rights, essentially, to enforce traffic laws on state routes or county roads, essentially.
One I think says, if I'm reading it correctly, you have to get permission even on city streets. And the other one is just saying you can't do it on city streets or interstates or county roads. But that would have to be done by the state.
They're
Level.
essentially giving the state or the county the ability, if you wanted a program, the program would actually be ran through the state or the county, not the municipality, even though it runs through your jurisdiction.
So then they would get the funds out of that, is that correct?
Yeah, and there's a couple other ones that are, again, these are all being, they'll be picked apart as we go, but this is obviously the first draft of these bills. So, there's a lot of coalitions that are against it, the Metropolitan Coalition, the Police Chiefs Association, there's the various others. There's a lot of against than for, from what I can see from most of these bills from the state website.
And the sensitivity on the tipping point, or what you call it? Of
The threshold,
Threshold, yeah, threshold.
that
of
is set
the
by
fine
you
is set
guys.
by our police.
That is set by, the police or the city as a whole. You
Yeah,
guys
okay.
tell us what the threshold's gonna be.
Have we passed anything in regards to that yet?
What's that?
Has any of the stuff we passed have the threshold in it currently?
I think if you guys pass an ordinance already, which has the fine schedule, so if it's 10 over, it's $75, and then it progressively goes up. So then if you're 11 to, I think, 15, don't quote me on it, but I think it's like 11 to 15 is $100, 16 to 19 or 20 is $150, and then anything above that, above 20 miles an hour, is I think $200 ticket, if I remember
I
correctly.
didn't realize we set that in stone
That's just
yet.
what the
but I
state
guess.
allows.
Mhm.
That's the
It's not our
state.
personal.
Right.
That is the state fine schedule, and that's what every other municipal, like Cedar Rapids, Des Moines. So what we did when we got into Iowa, I went and pulled all of the ordinances from everybody else that already had a program running Sioux City, and everybody mirrors the same. Same with West Union. So our customers are West Union, Fayette, Strawberry Point, and Hudson.
So where do they currently start their threshold, do you know?
They start their thresholds all at 10. That is my initial recommendation because you can always raise the threshold. You can never lower it. It just doesn't look, there's no value. You can't start at 12 and then say I want to lower it to 10.
So at 35-mile-an-hour zone, if you were doing 45, you get a ticket,
Yes.
basically.
You have the ability to get
Yeah.
a ticket.
You guys only get paid based on what is collected.
Correct. What has been paid on paid violations? Yes.
And I guess it was kind of my understanding that you guys would do all the paperwork.
We take care of everything, yes.
Kind of doesn't read like that in here.
Maintenance of the machines also.
Maintenance of the machines, we will issue all the violations on your behalf. So once they're approved through the back office, by the police department, by the chief or his designee, then we'll mail it, we process everything.
That includes the credit card fees.
Yes.
I thought we talked about just two traffic cameras originally. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah, and then
But
the
he's doing
chief
another
talked to him
study.
about a third. He's gonna do a
He's
Is that
study.
doing a
approved or
study.
is that just in?
He's doing a study. That's what he was telling you. For
Okay.
the
Yeah,
third.
we're not putting a system on 18 and 15.
Right, you're doing a study.
Just doing a traffic
That
study,
one's out
just to get
on, by the
counts.
vet clinic.
I'm sorry?
That one's that way.
By Dollar
Or
General?
By
this one.
Dollar General when he's doing a study.
Yeah.
So where I've already done the study is on 18
Right.
by Casey's in the 35 mile an hour zone.
Yep.
And then I did another one right in another 35 mile an hour zone. I do believe or 30. It's 35.
On
right?
51.
On 51
Mhm.
north.
So there wasn't one done south then?
Right.
before?
There was one, but it was like in the 25 mile an hour zone
Oh,
on like the S curve, and I don't know if we got a really good reading of what was happening. I don't know if it really worked. So the chief just has to put it down in the 35 mile an hour zone. I think was where he was getting complaints, is what he told me.
So has there been a good way figured out for collecting for the people that aren't paying?
So we are using a collections firm based out of Decorah, and I'd have to go back and look at the stats, but through the other 3 municipalities, Strawberry Point, West Union, and Fayette, they only have contracted with Radius on the soft billing. So I see a lot of emails. I don't know what is actually been collected. I can find that out and find out the percentage of.
Speaking of the debt collection on page 10, do you have it?
I don't. I
Okay.
didn't bring it with me. Sorry.
Number 12, if you can just, how would this extend to debt collection, like sharing the names, addresses, and other information with them, because they're like a third party?
So we're not actually using Iowa DOT or other state data. We're using Inlets, which is the National Law Enforcement Terminal. We're a strategic partner with them. And it's done through the ORI number through the police department. Every agency in the United States is issued an ORI. It's an originating number, and that's how we're able to get that. But obviously they're a collections firm, so it'd be no different. I mean, we're literally sending it on behalf of you guys. So that's a debt that's owed to the city.
So that's not included in sharing information.
Correct. Yeah, we're not, what I think that means is we're not selling that private information to a third party, meaning we're making money off of it. Well, I'm not, say you're a marketing firm and you wanted all this information. I'm not selling that information to you and you're not giving me X amount for it.
It's only for purposes
It's-
of debt collection.
yes,
This is a
correct.
violation.
How long after the infraction does the notice go out?
It depends on when the police department approves
Okay,
it.
so they'll approve it, then they.
Say
put
they approve
on
it, it would take probably
3 days.
3 to 5 days. I mean, because we're printing in Maryland, we have a massive printer out there.
They have 1 week, right?
Yeah, that's what it says in here, 7 days.
Generally, the quicker they get it done, the quicker we get it out. That's usually what it comes down to. So,
Looking for that, and that's-
obviously, it take us probably about anywhere from 3 to 4 days to get it into. It's about 3 to 4 days, 5 days to get it into the police queue, and then if they approve it the day we get it in there, it's going out in the mail the next day. And then it takes about 4 days for it to get back out here. And then from the day that it is mailed, when it has the postmark on it, they have 30 days to
From
pay
that post date.
from the post date. Now, if they pay on like the 35th day, there's no late fees. It's usually, there's about a 10-day grace period built in.
And if they don't pay, what's been,
So they don't pay, what happens is if they don't pay after the 30 days that the original violation notice was sent out, we will then obviously wait for the grace period, and then we'll issue a second notice with any late fees if that's what the city decides to do. And then we'll send a second notice, and then they have an additional, I think, 15 days to pay, again, with a little bit of a grace built in. So by day, let's just say by day 60, they don't pay. really, we don't send it to collections till after 90 days. So it kind of sits in limbo for probably about a month before it gets sent to collections. So even if they decided to pay it
They can wait. a
on the
little bit.
59th day and we get that payment, it's not going to collections. Or on the,
So, and if it
89th.
goes to collections, obviously you're paying something for that, for what they collect. Does that affect what the city
So
gets
they're
or not?
actually, I think most of the other municipalities have, when they worked out their agreement with Radius, which I have a point of contact, we don't really do anything with that. We'll send them the data on your behalf, but we are not, I won't negotiate it for you. That's up between you and them. They have been adding their fee on top of it. They're not taking it out of.
So everybody's got the cut yet.
So collections can add their fee on top
They
of
can
what
add
is
their fee
due.
on top. Legally, federally, they can add their fee on top. And they can only, I think the most they can do is 30%. I think that's the max allowed by federal law that they're allowed to do. I don't think they add that much for what they've been doing with the other municipalities, if I remember correctly. It's, I think, in the 20-25 range percent.
That's what 725.
Yeah.
So once they go that far, is there any repercussions after that point or?
No, not that we have found right now. Now, if you have multiples, I would say the same person with, say 15 unpaid tickets, then the city would have a recourse of civilly suing that person
Sure.
and dragging them into court.
If there's a repeat offender out of state, we would have to submit to our attorney on
I
how to
would,
enforce that.
yes, yeah.
And that goes, I'm sure it's the same, but just for clarification, that goes just to whoever is the titled owner of the vehicle,
Yes.
correct?
Now, there is a process, and I think we clarified this last time, but there is a process. Say, Mr. Malcolm, I was driving your car, and you're like, hey, you got the ticket in the mail. There's a process that you can do on the back of the notice of liability that would transfer the liability to me. You're like, Cory, I'm transferring to you this piece of driving. Now,
Okay.
we know these are civil, so there's no points assessed, or
Right.
insurance does not find out about these. So if we're close, you can just be like, hey, give me the money, and you just pay this, and just call it a
Yeah.
day. Now,
If you're not
That's
close,
your
you shouldn't be
prerogative.
driving their
I
car
would agree,
anyway.
but I've also found that I've had, wives transfer the liability to their husbands and vice versa. And again, sometimes it just gives a little bit of leeway, but again, it's gonna be communication, and a lot of the best practices that I've experienced, and, one thing I should have mentioned is, when I was in full-time law enforcement, I actually ran a program myself, through this, we were off the traffic before, we just changed our name about a year and 2 years ago. I did exactly what the chief would be doing if you guys had a program. No different than any other ticket that the police department wrote. The chief does have discretion, obviously, along with the city attorney, to make that call to whether they want to have it dismissed or not. The same discretion is there. We just kind of facilitate the program. We don't run the program. That is on you guys, and we will facilitate it any way that you'd like. Obviously, within the bounds of the law, I will not allow anything to go outside the law, but not that I think you guys would, but I just had to say it out loud.
Can you transfer the liability without identifying the party?
Obviously, you need to be able to identify who you're transferring.
You can't just say I
liability to.
wasn't driving.
You can. I mean, you could request a hearing and say that. So there's a hearing process that is also built into this that obviously we would guide you on how to build out.
But this affidavit would be accepted without that.
Correct. Right. So
These are
the
just
liability
examples.
that is just an example. Yeah.
I mean, because it says Fay in some places.
Yeah.
So these are
Yeah,
examples.
there's probably, I just probably threw it together pretty quickly and I got it out, but, I think I gave that to, your city attorney,
Mhm.
actually. So that was, we were on the phone and I was just kind of changing everything. But PDFs, when you're trying to edit a PDF, it doesn't allow you to do like a control F and find everything and change it, so.
And you said that, you had mentioned that because this was civil in nature, can be liable or not. It's not that innocent or correct. So on the, I don't know if this is just the example, but on the bottom of the past due amount, so it says payment of the citations and admissions of guilt. Is that
So that
just
should
so
probably
we
say
get-
admission of liability.
Okay. That's just
This is a typo, so obviously, that's why we proofread everything, and you guys actually sign off on any document that would be mailed out. So obviously, working with the chief and the city attorney, and then whoever else wanted to be involved to review, that's what, whatever's approved is what we put
So
together.
not signing off on this action.
No, that's just examples, we're not signing off on any of that. Those notice of liability and all of the documentation that comes after is done after the agreement has been executed.
So the word on the street is you don't have to pay. I mean, that's what everyone tells me, you know.
That's what everybody
Yeah.
tells you, but you'd be surprised. I mean, everybody's paying them in the other jurisdictions. So I don't know. I mean, there is a recourse that you can take. It just takes a little bit of time. I mean, it's just, obviously everything we do does benefit the customer. So our systems on the side of the road, the radar, the down the road LiDAR, or radar, there's a thing called cosine effect where it being on the side of the road and angled the way the radar head is to the car, it actually benefits the driver. It benefits the vehicle. It does not benefit the system. And that's been proven time and time again through our testing of the system independently with the police department. We'll log in, they'll test, they'll track the car with their own unit, whether it be a radar or LiDAR unit, and then our system. In our system, we're always within the plus or minus one, and that's a standard national highway traffic.
And I think there's probably a medium in there somewhere. Not everybody's not paying them, but not everybody is paying them.
Correct. I mean, it's roughly, I would say, from what I think I've seen here, is probably about 65, 70% of official payment rate. Collections usually can generate anywhere from 5 to 2 to 15%. I've seen them just as good as 85% after collections. And sometimes people just need to pay or time to pay, and obviously if they they call instead of it going all the way to collections, that's where you kind of mitigate all that. It's all about communication. I mean, that's the bottom line. I think I've said that multiple times in multiple council meetings here, that it's all about communication.
If we did move ahead with them, when would installation be?
We can try to move as quickly as possible. I mean, we're building systems at a rapid rate. We have poles in West Union right now, so we're working with a contractor based out of Des Moines, Baker Electric. They do a lot of DOT work for DOT. So we've contracted with them. They just did all the Hudson sites. Did a phenomenal job. Very low impact. I mean, they did a lot of knifing to run the electricity with limited damage to anybody's property. We had one in somebody's in the right of way, but it was in his property essentially. We worked with them. We wanted to move a couple times when we were trying to figure out where we were going to put it. So myself and Baker Electric and the city were out there with the individual, and we worked with them and found a happy medium to keep everybody happy and no damage to the property.
How long does it take to install? Once we're on
A
site?
lot of it's the permitting stage right now. It really depends on how quickly DOT will get back to us to be in the right of way. I've not had a lot of problems working in West Union and Fayette and Strawberry Point. We didn't really deal with IDOT and Hudson because they were all local streets. But the 3 other municipalities we did. I mean, it was pretty quick. As quick as IDOT could get back to us. But I mean, it was a matter of weeks. I mean, right now we just have to move the ground and kind of unthaw. I mean, Baker did say that they do have a couple concrete plants that they could get concrete from. It might just cost us a little bit more, but that's our upfront cost. That's our cost, not yours.
And 30 days of warning or so after
Yes.
it's installed?
Yep. So as soon as when everybody's happy with how the notice of liability looks, all that, how the warning looks, how the actual notice will look, once we start issuing live violations, we run a 30-day warning period and we will let those out.
Yeah, I guess that's the point I would like to get to if it does occur, is to get to the 30 days that people passing through, going to the river and stuff,
Well,
get
and-
some of those notices rather
Right, well, and I
than
think a lot of
first
it is
time through and they
signage. We
get
do
a,
put up signage as well. So at every entrance of Postville will be traffic laws for enforcing
Yep.
the speed limit. Like Cedar Rapids driving down 380. I
Yep.
just drove through there this morning or this afternoon. Obviously it catches my eye every time. I'm not saying I haven't gotten a couple from Cedar Rapids. I get those letters like 70 days later after my rental car, they've already paid it, so now I gotta pay them back, so. But again, we put up all those signs, and obviously DOT has helped us out quite a bit with those, putting them on top of the state route.
How big are the signs?
The entrance signs, I do believe, are 24 by 36.
Okay.
And then the other ones that sit under the posted speed limit sign are about, I think, 18 by 12 or something like that. They're not, I mean, they're not tiny. They're big.
I think they look like they're about 6 by 6 inches by inch.
That's
No,
what
we
I-
make them a little bigger
That's
than
what I
that.
think too.
We make them a little bit bigger than that.
They look that small when you're going that fast.
That's
right?
it.
I mean, when you're going too fast, you get a tunnel vision, they look small. Well, I mean, again, it's a big silver pole with a bunch of equipment on it. I mean, we're not hiding it behind trees. It's not camouflage. I mean, that's one thing I think our company prides ourselves on is that this is not a gotcha program. We'll do anything. I mean, to even run a public campaign during the warning period, the whole back of the notice of liability can have stats. We can print whatever we want on the back. Now, obviously, with your approval, but again, we can put, what the traffic study said, or, just what fatality rates are. I mean, at 40 miles an hour, if you're struck by a 40-mile-an-hour car, I think you have about a 30% chance of live. I had a captain that was struck by a car at 40 miles an hour and then killed him and shredded his aorta. He was even vertical. That's where he was struck. So at 40 miles, I mean, you're in a 35-mile-an-hour zone, people doing, 45 plus. I think some of the fastest speeds were pretty outrageous. And I would have to go back and pull those traffic studies, which I do have.
They could be doing 35 yet at the four-way stop.
Yep.
That's not bad.
And the chief did mention about the four-way stop. We're looking into using some of our red light technology. We have to go through a little bit of R&D, so we're finishing up a few projects right now. It is on the list to see if that would be something that we'd be able to accomplish with some of our systems to be able to enforce the four-way stop.
You'll be reviewing the stats that your quarterly events, and you'll be able to see.
You'll be able to see month by month, week by week, and that would be something I could pull for you, or the chief would be able to pull for you off of the back office, which we call BioView. So if you see BioView in the agreement, that's our back office. That's secured website. You can't Google it and find it. So, because I tried, because I forgot the web address. I had like a new tablet or something. Like trying to figure it out.
And on this,
So
go ahead.
when they get the thing in the mail, the only phone number on there is yours, right?
Yeah, I can't prevent them because it does say the City of Postville on the top. So, and I dealt with this a lot. So what we try to do is highlight the phone number, where to mail, phone, the 1-800 number in red. Costs a little bit more, but it obviously takes a little bit of heat off of you guys. I cannot stop 100% of people from calling here. Especially the chief will probably get the majority of the phone calls, is generally what I found. But yeah, my customer service representatives are very well versed on how to, one, the business rules, which I'll get set up, two, depending on how you guys, how you want to handle it. It's one, somebody gets caught on 18 and then they're, going up 51, they get caught again. How do we want to handle that? And that's something that we discuss after the fact, just kind of write it all out, program everything.
Do they have interpreters?
Yes. I mean, right now, because a lot of the areas we're in, like in DC, it's very Hispanic. Obviously, we might be able to figure a few other things out if we're running into some other languages. I think we'd be more than happy to figure and accommodate that.
And that gets both lanes of traffic, correct?
Yes. So technically, it'd be two systems hanging on a pole doing one lane each. Just with the newer technology that we've just, it's been a couple of years. It's the same ones that are up in all the other jurisdictions here in Iowa that we currently serve.
Can catch two scooters in one picture?
No. So it's fast enough to pick it up where it won't have both cars. I mean, I'm not saying there's not going to be both cars, but we know which car it is. So if there's somebody going slower and somebody going faster, we're going to get the faster car, not the slower car.
You were just thinking if you could speed fast enough behind the first one, then it'd only get one of you, right?
Well, I mean, you want somebody to be behind you to block your license. Mr. Moore, it looks like you got a very good question for me. No?
Okay. Can't read the license plate, then it's hard to ticket it.
That'd be yours.
When you cover the cow shit.
Well, we have, I'm gonna be honest, like in the winter, it's been, you know, sometimes we've ran into that where, you know, the salt and everything just built up on the back of these cars, especially coming down some of these dirt roads. Yeah, I mean, can't win them all, but I mean, that's just somebody's lucky day. But if they're gonna do it once, they're gonna do it again.
The back plate or the front plate?
Only the back plate.
Only the back plate, okay.
Yep,
So
we
you know-
only get the rear of the car.
You know where to brush the manure.
I'm gonna watch everybody in Postville just have like just smear on their license plates.
You would say eat beef.
Oh, yeah, don't.
Are there any other questions regarding the contract or any other questions that I can answer? I'm not rushing out of here. I got all night, so I know you guys don't, but.
I have no question.
Give it a try, I guess.
Ross, you got anything else? Okay, I guess we're good.
I have lots of questions, but I have them answered.
Well, I mean, if any of you have questions outside of this meeting, don't hesitate to, I mean, the chief, my cell phone's always on, so, and if you have, I'm in town all day tomorrow, I'm in the area. So if you need me to come back up here, just give me a shout.
All right.
Be more than happy to come up and have a conversation. Or come to another council meeting, either one, I'm happy to be here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
absolutely.
Cory.
Thank you. Yes, have a great evening.
Yeah, you too. You too. All right, so then we have to act on the resolution and resolution.
Before we do that, can I ask a
Sure.
question, sir?
Yeah.
So if we do approve this, then we have to do still something local level as to how we're gonna build everything and what the fines and stuff are to approve.
You'll
Is that
have to
correct?
do your policy and procedure to your
Yeah.
chief.
And that would take place after we accept the resolution, or whatever, yeah.
Because we could go to 11 instead of 10,
Sure.
Yeah.
right?
That's
We
however
can
your
set that.
policy is with your
What's that?
chief. It's however you're establishing your
Okay,
policy.
that isn't
for the
set
chief.
already.
No,
That's right, I got the impression that was.
no.
What we're doing is just approving the
Your
contract. that we
contract
have.
with them, yeah.
Yeah, so to put it in a nutshell, yeah, we're just approving the contract with these folks here with the, and set up the parameters after that. So being said, Ariel, any more questions? Then we should act then on resolution number 1370-22, a resolution authorizing service between the city of Postville, Iowa and Altumint Incorporated.
I move that we accept the resolution 1378-22.
All right, Becky, is there a second? Laura, whenever you're ready, then Darcy.
Engelhardt,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Malcolm,
No?
Mar,
Yes.
Moore,
No,
So it's still 3-2, and that's to be passed, yep, all right, okay. Thanks, so we got that part done, by golly, here we go. Okay, item 9 is Pat Stone, or somebody, a representative for Pat in the audience? Anybody?
guess we're moving on.
All right, we'll have to go by that one. Then item 10 is curb cut, Mr. Bass.
I'd like to request a curb cut on my, it's 406, not 402.
Oh, sorry.
So the biggest I can, and I told Darcy,
What was it?
whatever the city can approve,
What was it? What was it? The change that you said?
a curb cut.
406 is yeah.
Oh,
Yes, 406,
Yes,
sorry.
okay, that's what I
On
had.
the
It's
you can
406.
show me where that is on the map over here.
Lilac Lane.
Like, right here.
Up by the
Washburn?
football,
Just across
yeah.
the street from Wheel Drive, right here. That's the one I think.
It's going up around to the apartments, right? You are? that right?
one house,
That by
Before the last
Pheasant
one.
Pheasant Run Apartments?
yeah, no, the person out here,
Okay.
this is Yerushalmi, this is 408, this is 46.
Okay.
Is it on the corner?
It's in the area where,
Okay, okay, gotcha.
yeah, it's in the area where Dwayne Norris.
Correct.
Right.
Yep, that's where he built the house. So we have a lot of cars, and I don't want to get ticket again, so.
So we had the street crews look at his request, and where the storm drain is, I think that there was some photos in the
Right,
past
there
around.
in the bathroom.
That would not be able to be cut because of that storm intake. However, they were fine with the utilities on the other side of his driveway. They measured about 43 feet, so probably 2 feet off the property line is what they're saying, that they would be fine with the cut.
I thought about the storm issue,
Mhm.
what's called the storm.
Storm drain, storm intake?
Maybe I can go not so close to the storm thing,
Partially onto your driveway then?
driveway, and maybe build like make it a little bit higher, the end of the concrete, so we don't drive over. So yeah, like a sign. So I mean, we have like 9 cars, and we have, and I have 15 kids. So,
Oh, my, holy smokes.
yeah.
Is this-
So I gotta get
So you're gonna,
a little better
And
understanding.
when everybody comes,
With this being on here, Darcy, where's the storm drain in relationship to the house?
So it's on the right side of the driveway.
You know,
The storm
we can't
drain
drive
is.
over that.
And
So,
it was in those paths.
Oh,
around
yeah,
there.
yeah, I was just trying to get, so it's over this direction, so he can come this way.
Yeah, so it's 42 feet that way. He has to be
But
2
he could
feet
go-
off the lot line.
Okay, so he
which
can
the
come
city
about
guy
40,
said, okay.
45, yep.
Now, he
Well,
could
you wanna know
cut
if you can come
A
out
little
this
bit
way?
this way
but
if
he
you
can't
wanted.
cut, we don't want
Right.
driving over that
Where,
storm
where is
intake.
the storm drain, do you know?
Yeah, it's right, right at that driveway.
just a little bit off the driveway.
There we go.
Same thinking.
I see it.
Just, is that it right there?
I think it is,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
make it a little bit higher so nobody goes. Leave that alone.
For the wall.
Flip storm in here?
Just look at this thing.
I don't think something else, it's just this.
Well, if it would flip
Is
there,
that
if
the-
it'd make
I
it
know, is
easier.
that-
Believe me, I don't park there.
No, 6
This is where the
teenage-
storm drain is, so you could go this way like 42 feet. That
Actually,
direction,
what do
then
you
you
think?
can try to go just a little.
So
bit
there's
that
no
way.
cutting on the city property where the storm is at all.
You can't cut over here?
He can cut over there,
Yes.
42. There,
Can't cut
no,
over, no,
no.
can't have it. If we approve this, can we put in there that they put a raised, that there has to be something to protect this storm, just human nature, people are gonna cut the corner, and pretty soon you wreck the storm drain.
Mhm.
I'm
That
saying,
would be
I'm
one.
ready to.
A guardrail or something,
Because I have already cement on that side.
that's fine, but there should be a guardrail or something put up, so if somebody cuts the corner,
You
they're
can
gonna
do it,
smash their car up.
Yeah.
It'd be as simple as that.
but you have to put it everywhere.
What?
You have to put it everywhere, not on my
Well,
house.
if it's somebody else is cutting the corner, put a guardrail up there.
No, goes back to what I said before. If I approve, you can do it in my house, but you do it everywhere.
Yeah.
Not only by me.
Right. Mhm.
Are there other places where they've allowed this, to cut this corner,
Not the curb, not
gotta
where there's a
protect it.
storm intake, no,
you understand what we're saying? We
Yeah.
gotta
Which,
protect that.
which he's not putting a
no.
cut, he's not allowed to put a cut over there, but he can go 42 feet to the left if you're looking
On
at
the other
that.
side of his, on the other side of his driveway.
Right.
You can do it where he's also at the other side.
He what?
You're okay with that?
You're asking to put it on the
He wants
side.
to cut over here.
No,
in
I
this-
have already some up to here. you see.
I know. Are you gonna cut over in this area right here? Are you gonna?
No,
are
what I
you-
want to do is maybe extend that a little bit, but to put like a
Use
higher,
this pen and draw
like
it.
I make it like this. Maybe go like this, go like this, and here make it.
Right here.
Oh, this one. Like this. Maybe, I'm not saying yes. And here to make like a
Curve,
something like that, like a curve,
right?
so to contain everybody in this area.
Is
If,
that considered the boulevard?
Let me
though?
see.
or maybe, I don't know,
Because that's
whatever it
maybe
is,
private property, practice to extend this over here.
and make a
So
curve.
this It's completely away from the sidewalk, that would be just
Just a parking
You
once
just
it's up
want to
into the
extend, he
drive.
just wants to extend his driveway.
Right.
Right,
Right.
right.
Once he's on his property above the boulevard, he's good. How far in is the boulevard? It goes from the center of the street, is that right?
Right, we'd have to measure. I
Okay.
don't know what the width is of the right
right.
of way off the top of my head. I'd have to look.
But
at
he
the
could
photos.
put cement as long as it's not in the
Yeah, as long
boulevard
as
up
it's
there.
not on the city boulevard on that area, yes. You don't need their
Even if
permission.
this here was angled a little bit towards, from this, like this, would that be okay?
As long as it's not on the city boulevard.
City Boulevard is what, 6 feet, 8
Who's-
feet?
I don't know that.
It goes off the center of the
Who's-
street.
who's
then.
the-
Oh, okay, okay.
Who says, who is the one that doesn't approve?
Well, you'd have to get David, or who would have to take a
Just
look.
have
Who's
to
the one that
measure.
says no? I mean, that's what I want to know.
These people right here.
No, you say no.
No,
So I'm
he's talking
asking-
about, he's talking about the city.
Just on the boulevard
On the
side.
boulevard where that storm intake is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so what I'm suggesting is,
Right.
what I'm suggesting is I can expand my driveway.
You-
Right.
on
Just
your
have to be
property.
far
Yeah,
enough
even-
away.
Well, the curb cut is going to be on the boulevard.
Right, on the other side of your driveway.
So what
Yeah.
I'm saying is on that side of the driveway, what I want to do is expand a little bit my driveway
Mhm.
and make like a curb, maybe high enough.
Oh, he wants to put a curb on his own so
Yeah,
that he
and you
can't
can do
So-
that.
back over that.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
like I told you, I have a lot of cars and I need,
Right. That makes
Space.
sense.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying now.
that'll work.
It's okay,
Your curb would be up on your side so that you
right.
have to come around it rather than go up over your curb, basically.
so
Correct?
yes and
Yeah.
no, because I'm saying that she said that I cannot do it on the boulevard,
Right,
only on
Right.
this side. But if I do also in the boulevard here, and I do a curve to protect nobody drives over,
Oh,
this is what I want to do.
I
Maybe.
feel like you're getting into that utility work though. I mean, if there's freeze and thaw and you've got that going on.
he
they
could
don't-
basically though, could
But
he
he
not?
could cut on his own property,
Right,
just not
But
the
and
city
he could go
boulevard.
from the edge of his existing driveway with a
Sure,
curb
and
and up and
angle it.
around,
Sure, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I can go like, I want
Right.
to do something like that.
Yeah, you could follow your existing driveway up
Yep.
and then
Park on
angle it
the
around
sidewalk.
after that. You can't go
into
further,
driveway.
you can't go
And then-
further to your right to the boulevard with your curb, but
Then
you
it'll
can go
parallel.
along your driveway, the right side of your driveway and up and around your.
You would like to make it parallel to
I'm gonna have to show me the picture.
Here.
Can I
Take that over.
use this?
You want this, or do you want
No, this is.
this?
It won't take much.
How come I'm the only guy showing up on that?
So basically you would bring your curb right along here
Yeah.
and then up and over
Yeah.
your,
Oh, okay,
Yep.
this is what I did.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
want color?
Yep, if you wanted it here so they can't go, or just here, you could do that, just as long as you're far enough this way that it's not in the boulevard. So you could, if you want to run a curb here and here, or if you just want it there,
Yeah.
you can put it just there, just as long as they come and they can put flags into where
Okay.
the boulevard ends. If that makes
I
sense.
think the question is, he doesn't understand what determines where the boulevard starts. and
Well, they'll
stops.
flag it because we don't know
It's not
either until you
following,
measure
is
it.
Darcy, though?
Right, the boulevard is determined by the center of the street.
Street to however far,
So, okay, it's
Yeah.
not determined by the curb
right?
No,
of your
Right.
property, it's
Right.
determined by the center of the street, so we're not discriminating against you.
No, it's
No,
the
no,
same
that's
for
fine.
everybody.
I know,
They
that's
just
why
come
I-
up and put flags.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I know.
That's where it is.
That's okay.
Well, we come out and flag that.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
So you'll have an idea.
No, no.
And give them the measurement, so if something would happen to flags, they can at least remeasure on their own if they want.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so,
Make sense?
Yeah, that's why I'm.
Okay.
Okay.
with that. Okay. Okay. So can I say, before the garbage, that maybe we can do some, every Passover,
Yeah,
I mean, you're in the business.
Well,
Is there any way that they can have two pickup on that week? Is the garbage company will approve or, because there's a lot of,
well, you know what we could
maybe,
do?
I don't know.
Well, but that's a great question, and,
New York, I'm sorry, New York,
yeah,
they have, in the Jewish neighborhood, they have maybe 3 times a week on that week,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
depends on what your garbage contractor would do for you.
exactly,
Yeah.
and we can discuss that with the because when we get to that item, we're gonna have a little discussion on that anyway, so we could actually,
Ask if that could
I
happen.
just was thinking, I was living
Yeah.
here and I said maybe.
Yeah.
Every week, every year is the same problem.
Yep.
Bags and bags and bags.
sure, all right, we bet, we'll have that discussion with them. All right, thank you. All right, so we're good?
Need a
Everybody's,
motion for the curb cut.
oh, yeah, motion then for the curb cut.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it. Somebody approved it?
I do.
Second.
This is fit simple.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
That would be
Finish
as
that.
of the way we discussed it
Right.
after the original
Yep.
pictures.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
As of-
So all those in favor say aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, carried.
the Pat Stone one, we might come back to like at another meeting. Would that be correct? If he puts us.
Yeah, if he
thing on
still
it,
comes.
If he, yeah,
Yep.
okay. I was just putting it in my
Okay,
stuff here, so
All right.
that's what I was asking.
okay, then let's go on to item 11, then that's lawn mowing bids, which is resolution number 1391-23, and we got one bid.
Mhm.
So let's open this one. So our, oh, here we go. Yeah. And this is from Benda Lawn Care. So, and everybody got, or those folks that stopped got this sheet, you know, and what, make sure they were all bidding for the same thing on the same thing. So the total on his bid is $16,800.
And that's based off of per time mowing or for the year?
28, that's 28 bid or times.
So if he does more or less,
Well, no more than 28 is the max.
Okay.
So it's our current contract, it is $14,672, so it's $2,128 more.
More.
2,100.
128. But if you remember, A&S Lawn extended their contract 1 year, and there was quite a bit of gas, costs.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was thinking.
So did, our previous mowing contract was with Spencer,
yes,
and did they not bid?
right. He stopped in today and said he would not be bidding. He said that his costs were too much, that he was not going to continue.
He actually said he wouldn't feel comfortable even presenting a bid, so, yeah.
We did have a company out of Wacoma come and look, but we never received a bid back from them.
So,
I think I moved, we approved that bid.
So
okay,
you'll need to approve the resolution.
Yes,
We're gonna have
yes.
it.
Resolution.
and that's a 3-year contract or see, or what is
Yes,
that?
3-year contract.
And is there any increases through each year or is that
No.
all
this
3
is
years,
for all
flat
3
rate for all
years.
3?
Yeah.
Well, I want to say they do where we live and they're really good.
That's the price for 3 years, okay?
Each
Right.
year.
Yeah,
It's 16,800 each year.
Max, yeah.
max, yeah.
Max, okay.
28 mowings is what we normally
Right,
have them look at.
I got you.
all right, so we got,
Motion by Moore.
okay, and a second, did we get?
I'll second.
Okay, Becky. So whenever you're ready, Darcy.
Engelhardt,
Yes,
Ingstrom,
yes.
Moore, I'm sorry, Malcolm,
Yes,
Mar, Moore.
Yes,
Got you guys all confused.
so 600 a time. That figures out at.
Does it?
that mows the fairgrounds too, right?
A lot of mowing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to item 12 then, and that's the garbage contract, and we didn't receive any bids. So, but we do have a representative from Malcolm.
Yep.
And if you want to come up to the podium, please, and
My name is Dan Christopher from Decorah. I operate the trash business, dumpster business in Decorah, formerly Milton Enterprises Sanitation Resources.
Could you speak up just a little bit? Could you speak up just a little
Sure,
bit?
sure.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we did receive the bid request, and I did not turn in a bid for numerous reasons. So a couple of the items, if this is what you're wanting to know, just kind of
Yep.
what you're looking at. So for us, Winneshiek County has their own recycling facility. And so it's all taxpayer funded. For us to be able to take any recycling that we collect residentially from the city here, they would not really be able to process it the way that you are requesting it to be picked up, which is unsorted. So we would have to, whoever picks it up is going to have to separate it, sort it at the curbside, which is it's very time consuming. And so the county does not have a zero sort facility, so we can't just dump it all in one truck and then dump it on the floor and it won't get sorted. So it has to be manually. And then two, on that, I had a discussion with them last August or September about the city of Cresco was looking for some information from an outside hauler, and so they requested I come over there. And they were looking at possibly switching to another company or opening it up for bids because they were having issues with their current. And that was another issue right there with Howard County recycling coming over to Winneshiek County, which is obviously a taxpayer funded deal. So they said that they could not take it without having, setting some sort of plan into action that they thought would take 4 to 6 months before they could even possibly accept that material. So I'm just assuming that it would be the same for if we took on the city of Postville. The plan for them to be able to even take it would probably take 4 to 6 months.
Would you provide different bins for like where we live at East Park Terrace? You people pick up, your company picks up.
Yeah, so there we do pick up that stuff. I mean, it's a small amount for the commercial businesses that we pick up in town. We pick up the majority of commercial stuff. There's very little recycling when it comes to paper, plastic, tin that we pick up here versus mainly everything is cardboard for us. And for what we do bring in, the county is fine with taking that because cardboard is the one material that they can always seem to make some money off of it. So they've never turned us away on that part of it. Now, to the north, I know Altumint County, they were not taking it at all because they had no place to go with it. So I know that recycling materials has become a big issue in the last 1.5 to 2 years. So for us to be able to tackle that is pretty much next to impossible for the way you guys are requesting that it be picked up. The other thing that I myself have an issue with is like your 2 days that you're kind of talking about a spring and a fall cleanup. What we do, we also provide residential service in Kelmer and Ocean. They do a citywide cleanup, but we bring in some large dumpsters at their city locations, and they monitor what people are bringing in to get rid of, and they only have certain hours that they do it, take it, and then when it's done, we come and haul those large dumpsters out. They're not expecting our people to sit there at a curb and pick up piles of junk off the curb by hand. And I've seen it here in town when it's happened. I mean, I could not ask my employees to do something like that. I would feel terrible. And so that was another issue why I wasn't going to provide a bid on it, because I'm not going to ask my people to do that. They do a lot already. It's getting harder and harder to find people these days. And I haven't struggled with help a lot other than in the last probably 6 months to a year. And so it's getting pretty difficult, and to kind of task them with something like that, I just couldn't do it in good faith. Now, what we prefer to do is we tell customers, hey, in Kelmer and Ocean, if they have stuff, large items, couches, mattresses, whatever, call us. You set up a date that you're going to have it set out on your normal trash day, and we'll pick it up, and you pay us for it directly. We don't have the city bill them for it. We just work it out with that customer. That way, they're getting rid of that stuff all the time instead of piling it up in the backyard.
And it looks
behind their
better for the
house.
city. That's how we always did it as well.
Yeah. and
Keeps your
so-
city a lot cleaner than
Sure.
accumulating for twice a year.
Yep.
And just give example rates, Dan. I know it was pretty reasonable always of like
For-
what a
for,
couch
like,
or something would be.
furniture.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, like a couch, that is a reclining type couch or a hide a bed type couch or something. Usually they're like $20 or $25. King size mattress might be like $15, $18, and then prices go down from there on that stuff. So that's just how we do it. In city of Kelmer, Decorah, Washington.
And I do like that system better just from being in that business. Like I say, it keeps your community a lot better. People get rid of the stuff. It seems like better than, people themselves get tired of lugging that stuff out to the curb when they made so many trips that, that's all we're taking for this round.
But you don't want that sitting behind
Right,
your house.
right.
You get rid of it, it's out of your space.
Or add
Now
some
it's
mice
sitting
and
back
everything
there.
else
Yeah,
ain't
exactly. You
coming
got
in.
rodents
Right.
living in it and stuff like that, and so it keeps things much cleaner. So just passing that information along.
Would it ever, just a question for everybody here, a little bit of education and a question, I guess. Like Winnesheek County, and I really don't expect them because we're not part of Winnesheek County, but all theirs is set up to have the blue roll-off containers set up for recycling in towns, and then they do a rural one. So everybody takes their own recycling and sorts it.
Yep.
Is that something that we could put like at the fairgrounds or somewhere, and we'd probably have to purchase the dumpster or rent it from Dan and he would haul it? But is that a way? And the other thing that perturbed me really on the old contract was the fee, I think, went up on our, and maybe it didn't, but I'm thinking it either went up, and I do know they added a fee for the weight of the recycling when it became an issue. So now we were paying tonnage, which basically ekes out to garbage, which tells me I wonder how much they're really recycling it
Right.
of those items that aren't recyclable
Yeah.
and just
Exactly.
landfilling it
Yeah.
to cover that expense.
Because they can't get rid of
Right.
the material.
And the other part that you've got to remember, and I've said this when I was a hauler, they're supposed to take all their residential trash to Winnesheek County. And I've requested many times that they scaled to know that when they were done and get the weight from Winnesheek County and make sure those match up. Because as our local haulers, we cannot compete with the people coming from Prairie that have 50 or 80% of what we're paying to go to a landfill.
Yeah.
So
Anybody-
if they're taking that back over there, even a portion of it is an unfair advantage, and we're giving it to an out-of-state company besides.
Mhm.
Right.
So the Winnesheek County landfill is probably within the top 5 in the state of Iowa for dumping fees.
Yeah, they're up there. And anybody that, there's no jurisdiction as to the state of Iowa or the DNR when it comes to outside hauler. If they want to take the trash across state lines, they can't say anything about it. But they set up their catchment area, is what they call it, within the state. And so that dictates if it's a hauler within the state, where we have to take it. So we don't have a choice here to take it to Winnesheek. That's our only option. I can't work out a deal with Floyd Mitchell Chickasaw landfill, who's only $41 a ton. I wish I could, because I'd be going there all the time instead of Winnesheek for 72. But the state sets that kind of up, and so we don't have a choice on that. These guys that are coming in from Prairie, Town and Country, whatever, they can haul part of it here to make it look good, and then they take the rest of it to their own stations where they're paying half the rate that we are here. So you're not.
So they don't even dump the whole amount, they just dump what they have.
I can't say that I
They're
know that
guessing.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was me, if I was running their business, I'd be taking the first half here and the last half right across the river.
Well, when I did own it, I would get back to town in time, and that's what they were doing. They would still have one truck running here, and you'd see it leave and go out of town that direction. It didn't go to.
So who was our current hauler?
Town and Country.
Out of Prairie? Out of where?
You're out of
Boscobel.
Boscobel.
Possibility.
So they have it all back, no, they took part of it back across.
We are in the Winnesheek County landfill agreement. Our garbage has to go to that landfill.
There's no way to police it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No,
not our job
honestly,
to police it
yeah,
either.
Right.
Where did the recycles that they loaded up
Theirs.
in the trailer go?
I-
Where were they supposed to go?
There to theirs.
To theirs, because they recycled.
But like I say, when that fee came in, I would just about guarantee you that it was because you can't get rid of those materials.
They have to wait.
So, which Winneshiek just
Puts it all in the
basically,
landfill?
no, they pretty much give it away. I mean, Winneshiek County Recycling does not haul their recycling to the landfill that I'm aware of, or never
No.
has.
No, the only thing.
I mean, they
do
just
haul
take whatever they can get out of it,
The only thing they take there is the
glass, and that becomes
It
what do they call
used
it
to
for layer?
become a liner
Right.
at the bottom of the cells.
Well, interesting, because I called one time and I said, what am I don't remember who I called. I think Winneshiek, I have it on my phone now. I said, what am I supposed to do with my glass? You can recycle it or put it in the trash. Doesn't
See
matter.
that?
Yeah.
But then when I recycle and you take sections like the cardboard, we have a cardboard and we have a tin and a paper. When you pick it up, you put it in each section as it dumps in,
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the truck.
and then
So
and then you have to take it
So
away.
it's sorted when we put it in our truck.
Yeah, because it's sorted. in.
Right.
And then they take it out, they offload it for us and they put it in.
dump it in the
Into
trash
their-
pile.
That's okay.
Yeah.
This winter sheet.
Yeah,
So that'd be two different, is it two different locations then?
The recycling center versus the landfill?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
recycling's down in Freeport down there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right, I've been over
in the
there.
business park down there.
Yeah.
I forgot that that's what that was.
Yeah.
And if you look around, I don't think that our community puts that much out for recycling anymore from what I see. I don't. It's just, if you drive up and down the streets, you see hardly, I mean, if we have a big piece of cardboard, I might cut it down just not to take up
And that's
space.
the
but-
other problem that Winneshiek used to recycle a lot more different numbers or on
Yeah.
plastics, there's a number on, right? And so they say we can take number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, whatever. Now they're only taking like 2 or 3 numbers of it. They can't even, they have no market for most of the
Yeah.
plastic now. So you have to throw it.
You know, and then another thing, I don't know why this is, but a Wednesday is the most windy day there is. So you might have something in that tote, and by the time the wind's done, it's clear to the hell.
And that's
or
what's
some
nice
other
about the
direction.
recycling bins too.
Yeah.
is
So what is it, like I see recycling trucks coming out of Fayette or something, is there a company down there?
They carrying bins on them, or are they an individual truck?
I don't know, I just know that it seems like there's a garbage company out of Fayette. Are they out of business?
Oh, Bun?
Bun, there you go.
Yeah, he's not in business.
Okay, I don't know, I drive around, I see different.
Yeah, I
trucks.
mean, his trucks might be down in that area, but he doesn't own them.
He bought out.
Yeah,
He got bought out by
Black.
Blackhawk Waste.
Yeah,
And they are where?
out of Waterloo.
So all that waste goes that way?
It goes to the
Anything in Fayette goes to their transfer station, or ultimately anything that comes in the transfer station goes to the Blackhawk County.
But our stuff can't because we're part of Winnebago County's
Right.
agreement,
Right.
okay? We
and
have to work within that.
We do. I mean, us haulers from Winnebago County, Howard County, or Clayton County, we have to abide by that.
And so
Any
does
out-of-state
Postville.
haulers do
No,
not.
Postville.
We've got it,
Well,
we have,
right.
Yeah, certain
right.
cities have an agreement.
Yeah.
which we really didn't know until the other day.
but obviously we can't haul, or he can't haul. I'm not part of it, but he can't haul to those because they're not going to accept his trash. Where if
Sure.
they're hauling it themselves,
Right.
Sure.
they can do that if they
Yeah.
really want.
So it kind of in a nutshell, we kind of have to rewrite our bid. I mean, would you be interested in bidding if we
Changed our ways.
changed our, yeah,
Well, I think the biggest problem for me is going to be the recycled materials.
yeah.
But we would have to have a bin for all three, cardboard, paper, tin, and
Yeah, and
plastic.
so, I mean, that would be the thing. If Winnebago County was going to say, yes, we'll take it, then
Oh.
yeah, we would have to have it sorted.
When you picked it up,
And
At
then,
each curbside.
yeah.
yeah.
And I
Do
think
you do automated? Do you have automated trucks? You don't
No.
have any of that?
No.
and I think the best way to do it is the roll off containers and just either rent it from Dan or buy one for ourselves. The county would like that as over at the recycling center.
That's-
They would prefer that
Yeah,
the
I
best
mean,
as
that's
well.
how Winnebago County does it all over. Is they-
But so what
they
does
have
that mean?
those-
Everybody would take their,
Recycling to wherever you cite it.
oh yeah, I used to do that when I was in
Yeah.
North Carolina, come to think
Yeah.
about it.
It might be at the fairgrounds, it might be,
What's
I
that?
don't think you'll find people will do that.
Well,
Majority
I,
of the
Yeah.
I think you'll see about as
don't-
many doing it as
if they
recycling
don't, they
currently,
can
to be
just
honest.
Throw it with their trash.
Right.
you know?
Right,
I'm not
yeah,
saying-
recycling's probably be done,
right.
you know.
Right,
And that's
right.
a sad deal, you know?
Because, I mean. and-
I mean, you'd maybe put a cardboard bin, if anything, smaller one, because people, I mean, and the landfill doesn't want
Yeah,
cardboard.
we can't take the cardboard in the trash. I mean, to haul it back to Wintership, we're not allowed to.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
no.
that's one thing. And
Okay.
part of it is because that's one thing they can make money off of is the cardboard.
Right.
So not only do we have to rewrite a bit, but we gotta educate our folks.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, cereal boxes and things like that are fine.
Yeah.
But like you get a
Corrugated
box.
cardboard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
corrugated cardboard's what you can't. Yeah.
You can or can't?
Can't take that in the garbage.
Oh, in the garbage, I
Right.
thought you said recycling.
Yeah,
it.
no.
That's all I did.
Right.
you can recycle pop boxes, beer boxes.
Yeah, you
cereal
can,
boxes. They'll take it as cardboard, but the
What they want
landfill will
is-
not take the corrugated stuff.
That has to go to recycle. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
With those roll-off ones, how do you stop people from putting things that they shouldn't in?
If you have to, it's cameras,
There's
but
another camera deal.
All those bins are, they, you know, you mark them up and they have doors on them or openings on them.
and most of the people are, I mean, most people are too lazy to haul for the most part, especially if it's going to be a cardboard only. Typically, where they get contaminated more is when it's multiple ones and they don't throw it in the right spot.
Yeah.
That's like down at the farmer's market in Detroit.
Yes.
That's what you
Yep.
do.
Yep. And they've got them typically cardboard only, and then they got plastic and whatever else in other ones. But
Plastic and tin, they can accept together at.
To sort it
County
from there.
Recycling Center. So
probably got a magnet or something.
That then?
glass would just be
Garbage?
Yeah.
Garbage, yeah. It would be cardboard, paper separate from cardboard, and then plastic and tin together.
So it'd be 3 compartments basically. you'd have in there.
And
Yeah,
any plastics, I mean, any of the numbers on your certain number.
right. Whatever they say that they would take, you know.
And I'm sure they
Yeah,
get
look
stuff
at
thrown
the
in there
plastic
that's
number
not right.
it
But
is.
Yeah, I know, right?
If it's in Iowa, 50 cents, I mean,
There'd be a
5
lot
cents, I
of,
go.
be a lot of fires.
Yeah, well, you know, I just wanted to kind of pass that.
Well, you've given us. an
Yeah, well, thank
education.
you. But so, we appreciate that, you know,
I would love to provide a bid for the trash service side of things. The recycling is gonna be a little harder to do because, you know, we have to have an avenue with Winnebago County to take it.
Yeah.
If not, we have to somehow process it ourselves and find a buyer for it, and that's pretty tough to just.
well, and you start investing dollars to
Yeah.
process it yourself.
Yeah,
so in the meantime, well, but if a guy got a bin,
Right.
you know, so the bin you're talking about is the ones that are separated out right now. Who do you contract with those? You,
yeah. I mean, they're hauled on a roll-off
Yeah.
truck, so I mean, we can haul them.
And he comes
And
to
possibly Winnebago County might haul them for you. They haul all their own.
in the little bit of background is he does come over here. How many days a week to Norplex are you over
I'm
here,
here
Dan?
3 days a week.
So I mean, if it's somewhere in town,
Yeah.
even they could check it regularly and know. I mean, we don't have to be on a set schedule to pull it because they like pulling them when they're getting fairly full. I mean, they don't want them running out, but they want to make it worth your time
Sure.
of hauling it.
sure.
Because there would be a fee to haul it.
Yeah.
That affect also how much like extra garbage, you know, when you have extra bags that don't fit in the thing. You know, I mean, like we recycle everything just to keep our bags down.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to pay the extra.
Well,
price per bag. But if like now we're throwing away over.
Well, I'm going to speak out of turn here a little bit, and I don't think Dan can correct me if he likes, but I don't think that as long as somebody's not abusing it, they're really fairly lenient on that compared to what the other haulers have been. Because there's times that you pull up and you're emptying somebody's half full one,
Yeah.
or at Christmas, you know, it's
Yeah.
maybe an extra bag sitting out.
Right.
A lot of times you just take it and move on. I mean, if it's a pile sitting there, yeah, they're going to charge you.
Right.
But if it's an extra bag here or there, they're not like
I'm saying
most
if
of.
we can't recycle like glass or something,
Right.
plastics. then
Right.
that's gonna
You're
be
gonna have
garbage.
extra.
That's
Yep.
gonna be
Oh,
extra.
sure.
One at Christmas time just gave him a bottle of wine and then it
Well, and it might be going from a 64 gallon tote to a 96 or whatever.
Right.
But yeah,
And on the recycling side of things, or when it comes to you reviewing your current contract and possibly rewriting something, I mean, you know, I could get the ball rolling on talking with Wenatchee County about it and seeing,
Yeah.
you know, what they say. So if you're looking at your contract expires here this summer, maybe you just want to write it for a shorter time period, you know, just as
It'd be
a
good to know
suggestion.
what Winneshiek would do, I think. I think that's a good idea.
Are they willing to continue even, Darcy, have you heard?
Who, Town and Country?
No.
No.
They're done.
They're done.
Oh, they're not continuing?
No, no,
I wonder
we're
why.
between a rock and a hard place here pretty quick, so
Yeah,
yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That doesn't
was like-
surprise me.
Yeah.
It's like the garbage strikes in New York.
Well, I mean, I know what they bid it for last time. I was here and I'm thinking like, there's no way that's gonna work.
I've said that for
They
years.
did it too cheap.
They
Yeah.
can't find workers is their problem.
Yeah.
That too, but
Yeah.
I guarantee you it's costing them way more than they're expecting.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
thank
So
you.
when this collection fee goes up, then our services go up to the
Right.
customers.
They'll have
It's
to.
just the way it is.
Well, you bet. I mean, but
Capitalism.
it's like, so this is gonna be an altogether, looks to me like a kind of a little different deal, you know, I
yeah,
mean, it's-
probably.
yeah.
We don't currently pick up a whole lot of residential recycling. We do offer it in Decorah, but most people use those bins in town. And same with Kelmer and Ocean. We don't
Yeah.
we don't have a contract for the recycling side of it, only the trash. Those residents handle all that themselves.
And I think,
It's an education process if you
Sure,
want to go
yeah.
do it. but-
what's your thought on the recycling facility? I see them being more open to taking it if we had the bins. Am I correct there? Is
I
that your
would-
thought?
Yeah, if you had the bins or they were gonna even supply them, then they're gonna be a lot more open to taking it. If we were gonna try to bring it in, differently than that,
And part of it just comes down to a time management for them. If they're bringing it in and have to hand unload all that, that takes a lot of time. Where what they do is they have a gate in them basically. So they dump the back one, set it down, go in, open the gate, dump the next one, set it down. So
Sure.
it's really a quick process as opposed
if
to,
you have a large roll-off bin that has one for 3 different materials, there's two dividing gates in there. So
Yep.
they open the back up, dump it, swing that gate, the next one, go to a different pile and back it up, dump it in that spot. So.
Well, I think that the people that put it out in bins now are probably a little more concerned with recycling, and they would probably take it to one of these. big
Oh, they will.
bins. You know, I mean, a lot of people just don't recycle. They just throw everything in the
And it
trash.
just amazes
You know,
me.
and they're not gonna take it to the blue bin. So I think
And
the
they don't
same
recycle
people,
anyway.
right, yeah. So the same people, I think, that put in bins, you know, and if we made it convenient for them, you know,
Yep.
like someplace easily accessible, I think it would work. you
Yeah, I do
know?
too. I think we certainly gotta give it a shot,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
you know, and
yeah.
then,
and I would probably be one that would probably use the recycling because I don't use it at all now. Like say if I have a big sheet of cardboard, I'll cut it up, throw it there. But they're so picky at what it is, and not that they shouldn't be, but you try doing that and try keeping it in a bin like Dennis says, and it's blowing all over.
Yeah,
I would probably be one to use it more often than go dump my stuff in
Right,
something
yeah.
that
yeah.
But
you
know
can
it's
do
not
it and
gonna
get
blow
rid of
away.
it
Right.
rather than one more thing to keep in your garage.
And the way they're currently collecting it boggles my mind. I mean,
It's labor intense.
I can only imagine why they don't. I know why they don't want to do it anymore.
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, that's why you didn't get any bids from anybody up our way. We're just not going to do it that way.
Once a time.
Well, okay, so we're gonna have to learn how to write this thing up, but I think you gave us some ideas, you know, and
Can you send a sample, or do you have like some sample bids that are reasonable? That would be.
I don't think we need
In
that.
regards to.
No, I
No.
will.
Give us a
We don't
sample,
need
or-
that.
No?
I don't need that.
We'll be good.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just, and then I'll have to ask you guys, we'll have to table this until next month,
Right,
till
yeah.
we,
When's
Hopefully
our
get-
bid up?
June 30th.
Yeah.
And we're at April or March.
March. So we'll have to have this for next month, you know, I mean,
And if you could get something together sooner and have a meeting, I would. I mean, if you're going to try getting carts, it's going to take a while too.
Oh,
If-
yeah.
If we don't approve it till next month, he's not going to have carts in June for you.
No.
Well, whatever,
That's
what,
July
yeah,
1st.
whatever.
So the
Well-
carts that they currently have are owned by Town and
Right.
Country, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if some places they basically.
So they all gotta go
buy
back.
them
Right.
and-
Yeah,
I mean, we can't buy them.
No, they wouldn't be that nice. Plus, it says Town and Country on them
Do they?
Yeah.
Wow.
with their
That'd
number,
make
so
a
they
really
don't
poor
want that.
eyewitness.
They don't want that out there with their number on there either.
If we
Yeah.
just wrote it up as garbage, you know, with the toters, that would get more bids.
Possibly.
Leave the recycling out of it.
Oh, yeah,
You know.
possibly, yeah.
And he's telling you the large item might be no more.
That- right.
Well,
No, I'm not saying it's not no more.
You're just, well, right
Yeah,
now.
but get rid of
people
them
don't
weekly.
pay. You're saying put the stuff out and we'll charge you.
Not the city, but we
Right,
work it out
but
with
right
the
now, the
residents.
residents don't pay for
Right.
that large item.
Well,
Yeah.
we do in a
Yes,
roundabout way because it's built
So-
into the price. But now we're
Yeah.
paying for everybody's as opposed to paying for what you're putting out.
Right.
Now it's going to be a pay as
It's a
what
little more
what you put
fair
out.
for-
Right.
Per resident.
yeah, why would we pay for everybody's putting junk out?
Yeah,
Right.
Don't put any out
exactly.
ourselves.
If you don't ever have any large items, but this person has 20 of them a year.
Well, and
I
you,
mean,
like you say, you drive around on lighter item, and it's typically same houses that got a huge pile at them, unless
Yeah.
somebody's moving or something. But
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it's, so we gotta make an adjustment here.
Right.
And of course,
No,
it's
this
change
is
and we
gonna
don't like
change.
change, but we're gonna have to change,
Right.
so. yeah.
Probably.
well, and I mean, all Winnebago County's doing what he's telling you, so it's not very far away that it's capable of being
I'm
done.
sure an automated truck would work fine here in town for carts. We don't have one, but in Town Country didn't either. They were just using two guys and they had two
Yeah.
cart tippers out.
Yeah.
I mean, carts aren't the fast way to go. It's a little labor saving for the worker on the truck, but because they're using a mechanical unit to tip it in, but it's not faster, and
No.
so
I was gonna
it's
say it probably takes longer.
Does
yeah, it does. It's going to take longer, and so an automated one with an arm is probably the best way to go. Hawkeye Sanitation in Cresco, we work with them instead of against them. We're kind of friends, and they just purchased that unit, and so they would probably certainly be interested in tackling something like that, but they're having problems with their own recycling materials as well, because they're not subsidized by Wichita County, even though they're keeping recycling out of the landfill. They're having to process it themselves, and I mean it's a big debacle for them right now. So I know they don't want it.
So it's almost like Can Redemption Center. It's just an
Yeah.
ugly business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
if you were to bid it, what would your preference be? Carts or no carts?
Oh, I would prefer no carts.
If it's no carts, then what is it? What is
You
it?
just get your own
Just
can.
get your own trash can and blow it in.
Okay,
We always recommend, there's a certain 4 or 5 of them that we recommend to people that they use.
okay.
Anything you buy from Walmart is junk. They fall apart the first time it gets down to
Sure.
15 degrees. But
Some weight to it.
yeah, I mean a little bit. So that's how we prefer to do it. But we're trying to. Our guys are very efficient, and so we're always. A lot of people in Kilmer and Ocean, they don't even use
Just a bag with
They
just
just
it
set
outside.
bags out, and we run by and pick them up and throw them in and move on to the next. So there's no perfect way. There's many different options, but none of them are perfect.
Well, it's in a way, since you've kind enough to come down here and give us a lesson,
Appreciate it.
so when we talk to, we had to talk to our people now, because all of this that we're doing right now is changing, because we're not getting a bid from anybody, so to get a bid from your industry, it'll take different language on how we ask for the bid, right?
Yeah, different
Yeah.
process and how
Yeah.
it's picked up or what's picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, if I'm needed again, certainly reach out and I'll be glad to.
But you do not provide carts at all.
I'm not saying we don't or wouldn't. I'm not interested in it, but if I have to, I have to. It's kind of
But
like.
we buy them from you.
What's that?
We buy them from you privately.
Well, I mean, I have a supplier that I use that's out of Michigan, and I I try to only use them there for commercial businesses, generally, so we don't keep a lot of them on hand. I mean, I probably have 30 of them sitting at the shop right now. To provide them for, what is it, 635, is that what it says roughly?
They're maybe too
Plus-
heavy for your workers to pick up and throw in.
Yeah, you don't pick them up,
commercial.
throw them in, you use the tipper,
That's
which
why
is
they
slower.
use the tipper on the back of the truck. I mean, that's what Town and Country has been doing for years. They have 2 of them on the back of the truck and 2 guys, and they're having to manually or use the levers to get them emptied out. But it's, you have to have the labor to do it.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have to deal with the carts, you can usually get by with one guy, and he's able to just grab bags or cans and dump them.
And to be honest with you, Larry, the regular garbage can you have cleans out better than the cart because the cart tipper can't get everything. I mean, the guy can at least, if it's in a can,
Yeah.
give it a little hit or reach down in it. Where those carts are too tall, you're not going to reach down in them and grab nothing out.
Watch funniest videos, you see one of those people wind up inside their car.
Well, that's a, yeah.
I use mine for a paint booth. I want to, spray something with spray paint. I
It
spray
looks like it, I guess.
garbage can, yeah.
That's what happens.
All right.
Well, if I can assist in any other ways.
Thank you
know,
so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming down.
I appreciate it so much.
All right, I guess we need a motion then to table the garbage contract until next, well, you want to go next
We
month?
need to go and get
Next
an
month.
idea of what
I
we
have
think
that
about the
one
recycling,
You got one coming?
recycling bin up at the fairgrounds. I mean, I would be in favor of
Oh,
that.
sure, yeah.
So,
Need motion to table.
yeah, I move that we table the garbage collection
Second,
calling services.
Okay.
Ross, any further discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Uh,
Oh, say no.
And the recycling is something you could touch base with Winnebago County. They may provide a bin and haul it.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
Okay,
thank you.
well, we learned a lot, you know.
Yeah, I did.
So we got a pickle.
No bar-
Okay, let's go on to item 13 then. That's sealed bid for land lease. We got a few of them, my gosh.
Oh, good.
Oh, Billy. Can I hand that to you?
Sure.
Just like the Academy Awards.
Yeah, I know it. I'm kind of shaking a little bit.
The Oscars.
Don't hit me, don't hit me.
There are what, 5? I think 5 of these. See, that's a sticky thing.
Yep, yep.
It looks nice, it's close, but you can just see it very often. Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you read.
All right.
I can read them. Look at this.
It was a good one.
Okay, so here we've got a bid from Russell Brandt. I wish to submit a bid of $312 per tillable acre.
312.
312. Inyurt Farms, $305 an acre. Mark Lamborn, a bid of $302.50 per tillable acre. So I bet Can I back up a little bit? If we look at the Inyard farm at $305 an acre, if we took total dollars, we would have to go that times 29?
We said tillable acres, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's
So
20
they're all
how many
tillable, all per tillable acre, is that what we're saying?
Okay.
Okay, all right.
How many tillable? You said 24.
24 -ish?
Yeah, 24. Okay, here's Richard Ulenak, previous owner,
I was confused by that one too.
to the
How
city
much
of
is
Post.
that?
My bid on farm of 29 acres is $5,400.
So that'd be
$50.
$225.
But that, then you have to divide that by 24 though, right? Or is that what you did?
I
He
think
took
we
his
did
total?
He did.
full.
He did total,
Right,
yeah, so,
Yeah.
but
That's
you could do
29.
anything,
But
you
you
could do
divide that
anything
by
with that
24,
figure,
right?
yeah.
to make it even?
Yeah.
So what was it divided by 24?
I thought it was 224.
5,400 divided by what?
24?
225, right? 2,400
By 24?
was 225.
Okay. And Travis Koenig at 377 an acre. So
Wow.
he must make more money than I do. There you have it.
So it looks like the high bid would be Travis Koenig at 377 per tillable acre.
Okay.
Well, that'll make some people happy because I heard a lot of comments. It'd be nice if it goes to a young person.
The what?
A young person.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, well, I do too, but not all young people can afford necessarily. We have to take highest bids. So,
By God, you know, those were all except for Richie.
yeah, respectable
All
bid.
were-
Close, yeah.
All right, so we need a motion then to, motion to accept that bid.
By resolution.
Yeah,
there.
yes.
Yeah.
Resolution number 1389-23, a resolution approving the city land lease agreement
To the high bid.
to the high bidder. Yep.
So moved.
Second.
Second, go ahead, second.
Darcy, whenever you're ready.
Sure. Engelhardt,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Malcolm,
Yes.
Mar, Moore.
Yes,
All right, that's done. Item 14 then is a resolution number 1388-23, a resolution authorizing easement acquisition from Upper Explorer Land Housing Incorporated.
So some of you remember the utility work we did near the Green Street Apartments, all the utility work there. We want a recorded easement for our utilities running through that property. And Upper Explorer Land has signed off on that easement. So we agreed to pay them $1 and we will have it recorded that our utilities run through that property.
Make a motion. Yeah, good question.
No, but I was just gonna say that's what we needed a motion.
Yep.
I'll second it.
All right. Darcy, again, whenever you're ready.
Engelhardt,
Yes.
Engstrom,
Yes.
Malcolm,
Yes.
Mar, Moore.
yes,
All right, that's done. Item 15 then is the consent agenda. Anything you folks want to discuss on that one?
Let's see, D,
The probation of the deputy clerk.
and that's been approved by the library people, I take it, right? I looked at the paperwork.
No,
No,
that's your
that's-
deputy clerk, Heather Benson,
Heather.
the deputy. Her 6 months probation is up.
Oh, okay, so we have to move the, or just, if we approve the agenda, that's approved.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And so part of her, at time of interview and hiring, we started her $2 less, so
Right,
18,
right.
so she'll go to 20. And then she'll start accumulating sick time once she's released from probation.
Okay, well, I moved that we accept the consent
All
agenda.
right. Second.
So moved. Second.
I heard you.
I didn't.
I did.
You gotta learn to holler.
Please, please. Who did you take?
I heard
Okay.
you first.
All right, any,
I did want to compliment the library on their 3 hires. Very diverse group. That's good.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And once we're all trained and all the hours are set, we're gonna expand our hours and have more staff. And then also the flyers, just specifically from town to advertise, they can come in and grab the language.
Oh.
So like, you know, I tried as I can, but it's not always pretty. And so I'm sure they'd rather not talk to me.
No, that was
Good for
a
you.
good job.
She goes by Sissy, and then Biza, and then, that's for my main adults, trying to learn that to my brain, so.
all right. So any other discussion? We got a first? Yeah, we do.
Mhm.
Okay. So all those in favor, say aye.
All right,
Opposed, say no. That's carried. Go then to item 16, resolution to pay the claims. Is there a motion for that?
I'd make a motion to approve the resolution for money to pay claims.
Second? Larry. Did you get a roll call?
Mhm.
Okay, roll call.
Engelhardt,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Malcolm,
Yes.
Mar, Moore.
yes.
All right, thanks, everybody. Public comment. Anybody else after all this stuff? Yeah.
This Pat Stone and these tiny houses.
Yeah.
That's dropped because he's not here.
He didn't show up.
You
He
didn't
didn't show up and it was denied because it doesn't meet the right footage. Is that something? Yes, I don't know. Should we be looking at allowing that?
That would be the question you would talk about if he were here. I guess my main concern is he's got several lots up there that don't have trailers on them. So I could see it if the park was full and we were looking for additional housing to accommodate that way. But these would be like one person. I mean, they are that tiny from what he showed me. So what he wanted to come and ask was for you to change your ordinance to allow them.
Right.
However, you would have to give that back to Planning and Zoning Commission and get their.
That would be the step first.
That would be the next
Yeah.
step, if you thought it was something you wanted to even consider.
Right.
If
Okay.
not, you'd be wasting the Planning and Zoning
Right.
Commission's time.
If you can't fill them up with regular trailers or mobile homes, whatever we call them, is there an advantage to having something there using city utilities?
I mean, certainly there is, but I would ask, why haven't you filled the lots you have with actual trailers that would accommodate a family instead of one individual in
Yeah,
a tiny
yeah.
home?
And
If
that's
there's that need, why are the trailers not being brought in?
exactly. And that's, if Pat was here,
Right.
you know, we could ask him those questions, you know, and I why he didn't show up, I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And from what I've heard, and I don't know, I think he's building them himself, which is fine. But then where does liability fall as far as knowing that they meet all the requirements as to a mobile home?
The
Or a
standards
trailer
that the
house,
code
yeah.
needs, yeah.
I mean, that would be my other concern. Not that it couldn't be done, but I think he needs to go through that process to know that somebody is looking at that it's a safe home that we're approving for them to put in there.
Well, what was that note from Val that she had seen them?
No,
Or-
that he was talking to her about them and he's
Private
already
site.
building them in his garage. We've already seen one calls come through and we're like, the permit was denied.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he's done a few things he shouldn't have done, you know, so, and him not coming tonight doesn't help you guys' thought process whatsoever here. so-
And I think, maybe there's a need for single individuals to have something like that. But, if he's not here, you can't ask those
Right.
things and ask about the safety issues of just making sure that it is inspected and by somebody qualified for knowing that.
He said that long before you, but he didn't say for how much longer. Like his second option was to have it be there. to
For
change
1 year,
ordinance.
that's the way the code reads. Like you
Right.
could bring
He
a
wants to
trailer,
change
like
that, but he didn't say for
right.
how long.
yeah,
Well, you would think if they moved in, they'd be permanent,
right.
you know.
Does something like that come before Board of Adjustment?
No.
at some point?
Not if the council's gonna look at changing their ordinance. Right now, it's not allowed at all. He can't even, the only thing he could take it to Board of Adjustment would be for a 1 year allowance, and he doesn't want to do that. That was the only option I gave him.
Has anything more done or looked at for that apartment? The lady wrote a letter about.
Yep, so the housing inspector was originally supposed to be in there last Tuesday, but the property management called him the day before and had COVID. And so it's rescheduled for this Thursday at 8 a.m. The inspector will be,
Because I've gotten a call, and I think you may have gotten a call
Yeah.
from someone interested in what was going on with that.
yeah, so he'll be in and this Thursday.
Thursday, if I get a call, I'll let him know.
And did we get a report from this investigator yet? Or
No, we have not. He's still investigating.
Okay.
From who, Mary?
the guy investigating the.
He'll
situation.
be with our police
With our
department.
police here at the end of the month.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
What about this spiral notebook thing?
Oh, that's the
Looks like it
audit.
Went fine.
Yeah, that's the audit.
I mean, I
Page
understand
32
there
was the
a note in
findings.
pastoral
Yeah.
packet about things of duplication or
Mhm.
a lot of things that we've had other times just because of our small size. You understand that? That we're too small to have several, you know,
Segregation of duties.
segregation of duties.
Oh, yeah, that other.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna be tested, sorry.
No.
Not this month.
That'll be one of those months I won't be here.
And I'm laughing.
Really?
Trying to see
Yeah,
what
we
I
talked about your two things.
I do,
related to that.
I do, yes. So, so in the mayor's report, we're progressing along now with the fire department and the firemen on them going on their own. So, so along with that is a brand new commission. So what that consists of is 3 folks from the rural and 3 folks from town. The mayor is on automatically, and we need somebody from the council and then somebody that lives in town to be on this commission. So, so I'm looking for somebody on the council to take that up. I mean, because we're going to have to act fast. We're trying to get our paperwork done. Everything will be signed off on here, I hope, pretty quick. We thought we could get started that tonight, but it didn't happen. And before you know it, the 1st of July will be here. But then, well, if you look back at it, as a matter of fact, once they sign off on all of that, then we've got to have the commission together, I believe, in 10 days or something like that. So it's even faster than that. So, I knew you guys would all raise your hand really quick, but,
I thought I already volunteered.
oh, did you?
at the Previous meeting,
Yeah.
Oh, then you
I
did.
thought you
Okay.
did too. Yeah, Clerk.
back here in the, back here.
Well, you were talking about it. I thought you. had-
Okay, so that's all we need to know.
That's all right.
That's all we
I
need
don't
to
know if I'm
know.
representing the council or
You are
representing.
representing the council.
Yes.
Okay, not a person in town.
No.
No.
You're gonna find another person in town.
Yes, yes.
And remember, you have to follow the male, female when you're
Yeah.
trying to make your boards.
So we better have a female.
Probably would recommend that.
Yeah, because I know the other 3 are all
I think
guys.
your rural township people are probably all male.
So,
So,
Well, I have asked the lady, and then she hasn't. We'll see. I'll ask her again. So.
Did you say she hung up on you?
Yep. Typical. Every time I call a girl, they hang up. And I said, what? Yeah. And then I got to make a comment on the last week's election. And it passed big time. Yeah, we just did lack of numbers, but 40-3 is a good number.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just, if you were a poll worker, you'd have been really bored. 'Cause that's almost like 4 an hour, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so, but thanks for everybody that did show up, it's
we'll pull from Pines Motel.
and any, so the Pines, and then there are some Airbnbs in
town.
town.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Anybody, in case they're looking for an Airbnb, I don't need one, but
That
Where else
little
do
red
people
house,
have?
the red house not too far from the vet.
Electric motor shop.
Ted Hughes
oh yeah, Ted has one,
Yep.
okay.
and
I thought Kiora has above the recycling. He
Oh,
was-
sure.
That was on the Airbnb. I know at Ragbri, somebody had rented that, remember? And then that
Yes.
changed and it called you and
Yeah.
said, Mayor, help me. Yeah.
That was fixed up pretty
So
nice
there
above
is
there
an
one time.
Airbnb up above the recycling place. I did not
There
know.
was, I mean, there
It
used
was
to
a
be.
nice
I know
apartment
during
that he made up there,
Ragbri and
actually.
What
stuff.
about
it was
where
advertised.
Schleins used to live? One time wasn't that an Airbnb,
There's
bed and
one on
breakfast?
Pole Line, isn't
What's that?
there? The little barn one.
Yeah, it is, but we would just be within,
City limits.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Pole Line Road where the barn?
Yep.
Yeah. But I'm thinking about where Dr. Schlein used to have his chiropractic, not in the chiropractic office, but the house I thought was a bed and breakfast.
no, no.
It's just a private residence
Yeah.
now, okay.
If I could have got done what I wanted to get done, there would have been another one in town, but
Uh-oh.
maybe there will be. Yeah, we'll
Get
see.
your place?
No,
He's got another good location.
yeah, I do. But anyway, and then,
Well, I thought about that. I was
so
gonna include it with fishing guide service.
we talked a little bit about the landfill, the Winnebago County landfill, and that group or that board meets every month, right?
I think
Darcy?
so. Mhm.
And so another one of those, if somebody would like to go to this meeting, because that's now that we found out we're a member. or
Right. And what we did was we pulled our original contract. It was signed back in what, 96 or 4
Wow.
or 2?
I think Rodney Smith was on it, and then so 93.
Okay,
Yes.
so we sent it over to the city attorney because I feel like we don't really know what we are involved in.
Yeah.
You know, when I visited with Town and Country, you know, they called and said they weren't going to be quoting us anymore. Their number one thing was, of course, they couldn't find the help, but they said our landfill fees are expensive. And so it got me thinking about what does that all entail? So I said, well, what about like walk on? Because I know you do them. They said, no, they're not in it.
Were they only?
We're the only town.
In
So I was trying to
Altumint
figure
County.
out like, okay, how did this all come to be?
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be good if the city attorney reviewed it and, you know, we kind of all understood, since none of us were here back then, how that all came to be. And is it a benefit for us to be in it? Or, you know, maybe things have changed. It'd be good just to update everyone. So the city attorney reviewed it. He's going to reach out to, what did I say his name was?
At the landfill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hogman?
That was Hageman.
Yeah.
It was.
Dave? Is
Oh,
it Dave?
No, that's
he's
who
not
it was.
there
He's
anymore?
not there. It's,
Okay.
Oh, okay. I sent him his number.
shoot.
Because I looked on.
TJ Chisel
Okay,
is the
so
landfill
we're gonna need to reach out
manager
and
now.
visit with them and just kind of, so we all understand it.
Yeah, that's a good
Why don't we
idea.
go the way of walk on?
I can
don't
give-
know.
I can give
Maybe
you
we
some
want-
background.
Okay.
Okay,
want.
yeah.
Originally, Albuquerque County was in with Winnebago, and they, for whatever reason, backed out at the last minute when that all took place from going from private to county ownership. And so there's been a long grudge there as far as letting Albuquerque County come back in. So they can only basically get it hauled out of state right now because they're not a part of any other one. And I guess I would just caution against that because it's already hard to quote. So if you pull out of an agreement, and the only reason we're in it is because we got that sliver of Clayton County on us.
Mhm.
So that allowed us to come in as the whole city. They allowed Postville in. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in it. But I guess I would just caution them not being in it. Yeah, they're high priced as all of them, unfortunately. And the unfortunate part is you really can't charge a customer anymore in these counties than what you do in the others. So your margins are just thinner as a hauler being part of Winnebago counties because everybody knows what the other ones, neighboring ones, are paying. So they're all pissed if you charge them any more than really what they're getting charged. Clayton County can get a little bit more just for the fact that it's being hauled further, you know. But
Do the Clayton County towns all up to Winnebago County?
yep, they're a part of it. It's Clayton County, Winnebago, and then just us since we're in Clayton County, Larry. And
Was
there
Howard-
was one out of Minnesota at one time, but they
Fillmore.
have left now and
Oh,
went,
have
they
they?
got in with somebody else up in Minnesota that was a cheaper one. And it's a little bit aggravating. I know the uncle especially, he'd done it for 30 some years, so I get where he came from of being ornery all the time of that. The landfill has probably 4 or 5 million, I'm gonna guess by now, put away in reserves for closure.
Landfill,
Yeah,
let me tell you,
and
that figure knocked my socks off.
yeah, it might be more than that. But Dennis will get you that figure.
And when,
But the aggravating part is a lot of the other counties are not doing that. So Winnebago is being physically responsible. Don't get me wrong there. But there's a super fund out there through the federal government that if those funds weren't there, that your tax dollars are going towards, it would still get closed and maintained like it should. But they are, like I say, they're being physically responsible, but they're accumulating a pile of money. And interest, has really helped that. I mean, it was low, but when interest is good, they're doing really well. I mean, as a hauler, you won't see anybody that's been in the business for as long as the $6,294,86 or $865.98. So I was off. They got $6 million there now. But I'll guarantee you there's not a hauler that hauls in there for the number of years they've been open that has $6 million in their bank account.
No,
So it's a little bit aggravating that they're, like I say, I'll almost guarantee they're in the top 5. Back when I owned it, they were probably in the top 3 at one point. So that's why I say they're probably still in the top 5 in the state.
So you mean top 5, like cost wise
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the tipping
Like
fees?
he was saying,
Yeah.
41 or whatever
Right.
compared to 72. And
Well, they have a captive audience.
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah, they can charge you whatever they want. And unfortunately, it gets passed on to us.
So do you think is it to our advantage that we're in this agreement?
It is for as far as right now. You could go, honestly, they don't haul your garbage. They're the ones out of state. And that was always my argument when I owned the business is that's not fair to me to try bidding on it because I was always higher. And it just irked me because
Sure, yeah.
it's not monitored like they say. And why should I be at a disadvantage
Mhm.
because I don't own a landfill that I can haul back to,
Sure, yeah.
Right, but you're looking at it as a business owner, where we're looking at it as trying to provide service.
Right, I get that,
So-
but still, as a city, we should not allow somebody to take it where it's not supposed to go
Right.
and be a detriment to a local hauler.
Mhm.
And I'll be open. It really upset me of being a citizen of Postville and them doing that and me knowing that and sitting in front of the council and getting told, no, you don't get the bid. I mean, what a kick in the nuts. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm paying taxes, I'm doing other things for the community, and I got somebody that's not even a part of the state coming in and getting the bid because they're cheating the system. So
Well,
that was an aggravation. But
It would
nothing I
have
can
been,
do about it.
but I guess, so
But
the
going
reason,
forward, I think you want to be a part of it.
but the reason we looked into it is because Town and Country
Right.
said the reason they weren't gonna even
Exactly. Yeah.
let, supply a bid was because
Right.
of that
Yeah.
cost.
Right.
And
they were all part of it.
that's
'cause they have
because
to all
we were
of it.
part of that
Right.
deal.
Yep.
Well, if you take a look at that deal, and I mean, and I'm bad, when I start reading things that lawyers put together, I get all done and I said, what the hell did they just say?
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
And this is the papers are yellow.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
So that's why we did. We sent
Right.
that on to the lawyer,
Right.
said, let's get some,
Yep.
tell us if we got a deal
Right.
here or not.
Or educate our council so we know what agreements we're in.
Yeah.
Because that thing is so old, none of us even
Right.
know.
Right. Yep.
So,
So anyway, that's where that went. And
Right.
We'll get
I
some kind
mean,
of,
and talk to some people now in McKee County because I think there's probably a fair number of them that wish they would be a part of it
yeah.
and can't be a
Yeah.
part of it.
Well, especially now if Town and Country goes, we've even maybe heard a little more that maybe
Well,
they're
they
not
could
even going to
start
come
charging
over.
what it-
They're
well-
not even going to come across the river. anymore.
Right.
Now, if
Yeah.
Albuquerque loses that,
Right.
whoa,
Yeah, they're done.
yes.
I mean, they're back to waste management. It's the only alternative.
and waste management would be more expensive.
Well, if you're
Where
the
do
only
they
one,
go to?
if you're the only one that's going to provide a bid, what do you think's going to
no,
happen?
we didn't get a bid.
I mean,
from
where do
this.
they haul to, Ross?
Prairie.
Waste management guys.
And they are not doing much residential anywhere anymore.
Okay, that might be why.
If you look around, I mean, Blackhawk Sanitation, for whatever reason, has pretty much taken over all of Fayette County. And Bunn came in and cut rates, and that's why he's not in business no more. I
No,
mean, he would do
Hawkeye-
things for nothing.
Hawkeye's a small one, right?
Hawkeye Sanitation. No, they do a big business. Like Dan said, he gets along with them. I always get along with them. Uncle and him didn't get along very well, but I think it's because they were more the same age.
Yeah, probably.
And just knew each other for so long. But Hawkeye does, and they've gotten beat up in Clayton County, some by Town and Country and by Blackhawk. But obviously, if Town and Country is going to quit, that'll give him an opportunity to, if he's got, I mean, and the other part is, it's just plain hard finding help of, I mean, it's not an easy job.
No.
And you're,
Blackhawk's still willing to take it from Clayton County and haul it over to Wisconsin.
I don't know where they're going with it because they go into Blackhawk County with their trucks. I don't know. What,
Blackhawk maybe goes to Waterloo.
yeah, I have no clue where they're going.
About,
It should be going to the Winnebago County landfill, but I have no idea what they're doing with it there. And the other thing they can get by with, if it's a mixed load, you can get by with legally taking it. I did find that out because at one time when Fayette County was putting in their transfer station, I did Claremont. And so I asked, can we just because you had to take it to Blackhawk was your option. And I said, well, and I called Winnebago and I told them the situation. I said, if we keep track of tons, can I just trade tons back from Winnebago when we go that way? And they did allow that to happen rather than them do all the way to Waterloo to dump it during that couple month time period. But
Blackhawk Sanitation is a Waterloo-based company.
Yeah.
Not British because it's
Blackhawk is, yeah, right. Yeah, Blackhawk County
okay.
is where their name came from, I'm assuming.
Well, we have 10,000 sinkholes in the county. Maybe we should film.
Well, you're in charge of that one, Mary.
Well, believe it or not, that's where it went for
Yeah.
a long time. Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
We used to have 20,000 sinkholes.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm done. So, if you guys got any comments?
I got a couple, I guess.
Who was the lady that left? Was she going to talk to us about anything?
Jennifer Benda.
Oh, that's what that was.
That's what
Tom's
that-
wife?
I should have recognized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pay
yeah,
attention.
now that you mention it.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
You were talking about different committees here, and we do have, our committee appointments,
Mhm.
and it's not new to what's happened here in the city since Larry and I have been on the council. At times I feel I'm not sure what this piece of paper is really good for. As far as the personnel committees and stuff.
No.
We're appointed to them, but whenever anything comes up on any of those issues, and not saying we've really got free time either, but I don't think any of us that are involved in those really get called in for much of anything that goes on.
Okay.
And not saying we have to, but if we're not, and I'm good if we are or aren't, but if we're not, why do we have to fill this piece of paper out, I guess?
Yeah. Well,
Well, Deborah and I are gonna go on sidewalk patrol this summer, because we're on the sidewalk committee.
I have an idea about that too, that might make it easier for you.
go ahead, Ross.
And one other thing I guess I'd like to bring up, and I brought it up to the mayor already before, the last meeting with the raises that went on. And I'm not saying they're not justifiable for what inflation is, but the last 2 years now, we have not followed what the union has done. And all of my other years now, I think it's 14 years we've been on the council. We've always followed what union has done. So, and I'm not picking on anybody because I respect everybody and they do their job great. It's just if we don't do that and union negotiations are going to be coming around, how are we going to justify not getting hit with a huge raise on their part now? I mean, if you don't give them what they want and go to mediation, what's the judge going to say when we've given non-union members? I'm not sure what union members get this year, 3-4%.
3%.
So we doubled that this year. Last year we were 1% above that. The other part is when you're given percentage raises like that, we gave it to the 2 highest paid employees of twice the amount. And I'm not sure exactly where those funds come from, but we're always talking the general fund does not have money for stuff. And like I say, nothing, I mean, that's where inflation is right now, and we're probably gonna be in that spot when we come to negotiations again. But I guess I would, as a union employee, feel a little bit abused that we followed that for 12 years in a row, and all of a sudden we're veering off from that. And the other part of that is, and it was grandfathered in, so nothing against them at all, like I say. But they are getting an extra, I don't know what it is, but $1,000 plus for family health and care compared to the other employees that get single coverage. And that's no problem of theirs. But I just look at it from trying to be physically responsible, and I can justify what they're getting off of inflation. Don't get me wrong. The problem that I have is where the union is and what we've always done, and now we're not doing that anymore. And Matt and Darcy both do a wonderful job, but it's just how do you justify that?
Maybe a precedent that's set.
Right.
When it gets to union negotiations, we're gonna have to
Right.
come face to face with and budgeting processes. That's why I asked about, is it in the budget going ahead? And I talked to Dennis about, it may be where reality is.
And reality is here today of what inflation is. And reality is here today what inflation has done and where raises should be. I'm not arguing that at all.
So, we have great city employees,
Right.
everyone from Darcy to Matt on down through the rest of the.
Yeah, they've all, I mean, no complaints on them.
I don't know I wouldn't want any of them to leave.
Right. Like I say,
It's gonna be
I get it. It's justifiable for
Yeah.
what they got for where inflation is, but it's just going to be even that much harder when it comes to negotiations.
Did the appraised values actually, did they go down a little bit, Darcy? I'm saying, like, was it $23,000 or?
21,155 with the new valuation.
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah. So, and we are levied at the max,
Mhm,
right?
Yeah.
So we can't raise our revenue,
Right.
right? So the wiggle room has to come by way of cuts.
And then we're wanting another, and I get it. Everything that's going on, we need another police officer, but we're trying to justify that as well on top of these
Can
things.
can the revenue from the speed cameras, does that only go into police? That goes into the general fund?
You can go for whatever you
Whatever you
allocate it
want.
for.
What's that?
You can go for whatever you allocate it for.
Yeah. That may,
And the only thing
much as
that,
I dislike it and probably be one
Right,
of the biggest
no.
contributors to it.
Yep.
It may be what has to happen.
no, and I don't disagree with it for that part. And I have no problem telling people the reason I don't vote for that is we keep passing it on as a safety issue, and maybe it is partially safety, but we need the money. So why are we not saying we need the funds as
Well,
well?
Part of that is true, but
I mean, it is for safety. It's both.
If you
It's
take a
blend.
look, at the statistics from the folks that have had these, I mean, they'll come right out and say, don't budget. You cannot
No,
budget
no, I'm
this
not
amount of
saying
money.
that. Right.
Because
It's
this,
gonna
it
decline.
goes just
Right.
like this.
Right.
Because folks after a while said, shit, I don't want to pay this
Right.
anymore. And so they're
Right.
gonna slow down.
Right.
So in slowing down is the safety part of it.
Right. That's why I say it's a
So,
blend. But they're still banking. They're still making decent banking.
they've
after
got
people
some, but
slow
it's
down.
not where it was.
Right.
So,
But it's still six figures.
well,
Most of them.
if you take a look at the Fayette mayor, I don't even know where that figure was at, but I just watched where it was and where it is now.
Yeah.
It's
came
not,
down.
it's not where you can
Right.
say that I'm gonna go hire somebody from what I'm making off of that, because you're
Right.
gonna get yourself in a whole lot of trouble.
Right. Well, and especially that's why I asked about the Iowa legislature thing.
Yeah, well,
What
leave it up to
happens if
them to
that
screw
does-
everything up,
Right.
and that's what
Well,
is gonna happen. But
I
yeah.
have a feeling those cameras they won't necessarily get rid of, but they're going to control them and take the money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They
Right.
want it.
Right.
Yeah. That's
Because they're on state highways.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly the truth.
That's what my thought process
Yeah.
is, that they'll allow you to put.
You got it.
You know,
Yep.
they're just going to take control of them.
Is the flashers that say, 25, 45, slow down, good, whatever. do we have one of them at every place, ahead of every place where there's gonna be a speed camera? Do we have enough of them?
No,
I like those.
Those things are like $4,000-$5,000. We wrote a grant. and
We got
the
two,
that
is
we
that right?
have,
Two.
yeah.
One
We
on
have
north
two.
and one
I
on
just
from
wonder how
Claremont.
many we have.
Yeah.
But can they
No,
be moved?
that's south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it one on 51 or is it one
No.
out by the vet clinic
West
One's
and
out by
the vet
Casey's,
clinic.
right?
Yeah.
and one's by the vet
Casey's.
clinic?
Right by LTI, kind of.
Okay.
Sort of.
But those do get my attention.
Oh,
everywhere I go.
absolutely, they do. Yeah.
And
I mean-
and
We
they're
have a
per-
speed trailer.
What's that?
Right,
I mean,
right.
That
And it
can
don't
be
get moved around.
moved out of the
So
garage.
trailer would be the third one,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, most of the time that's out north.
no, most
Yes,
of the time
it
that's
is.
in the police
Yeah.
garage.
Might
Yeah,
as well
it
be out
is.
north then.
Yeah, right.
My requirement is that put that baby out there because that's
Yeah.
big and visible
does
and
help.
flashy.
Well, and even on City Street, I mean, it's just move it. It don't take that
Right.
long.
No,
I mean,
it don't.
I think those things are the biggest, are bigger detriment to speed than even the camera, because the camera's gonna sneak up and, gotcha.
Right.
But you see those, you have a chance to
Yeah.
hit the brakes and respond.
and I'm not always at it, but I'm within probably 3 miles an hour when I see it. You know, it just gets my attention, and
Frankly,
Lot of
you get right
times
down
it's
to the
just that
number, just like that.
a lot of times it's just I'm not paying attention, and that draws my attention. It's not that I'm trying to speed. And in fact, West Union, I'm glad they don't have one. I don't think coming in from the Claremont way. Going into towns, I have no problem because I know it, and I slow down going in because I know I'm coming in. That's why I'm coming out.
Sure, and hurry.
That I
go.
start accelerating too quick is my problem. I can slow down. It's just I start accelerating quicker than I should have. Yeah.
All right.
We'll get there. Well, can you put the bug in the police chief's ear that we need him out north?
Yep.
And on the
Doing it
city
right now.
and on the city streets.
Well, there's no need for it to be sitting in the shed.
No.
Right,
No.
yeah.
Right.
It needs to be there.
Yes. Gotta use it.
I mean, up on the school street, anywhere.
School Street, yeah.
Yeah, get them out on some of the streets that are.
Well,
By,
they're talking. Yeah.
Coming off of Cherry Valley.
What happened, we probably don't know what happened
Before I
out
leave,
Yeah, he's
Okay.
on the Cherry Valley Road, do we?
That's what I-
say that again.
You don't know what happened out northeast of town?
Actually, shooter type thing, but no.
Active shooter?
What happened?
No.
So,
Okay,
anything else, you guys? Motion to adjourn.
Yes, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
all right.
Oh, say no. All right, folks. Thanks.
Thank you.
What's that?
I see the
That's true.
There.